What is up, everybody? Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers, and welcome to another edition of PCP Horrorfest 2020, where we're running through some of the greatest horror films of all times. And tonight we're talking about a true classic. We're talking about The Wolfman. The Wolfman from 1941, directed by, was it George Wagner, right? Yes, and Kurt Siodmak, of course, the writer. We'll be getting into all that, starring Lon Chaney Jr. and, of course, Claude Rains and Bela Lugosi. I am Rockin Robbie Billups. With us tonight to chat live about The Wolfman, we got Jelani. What's up, my man?
What's up, man? Excelsior. How's it going?
It's going great. You know what I'm saying, man? I'm happy that,
me too.
You know, we've been doing the Mummy Monday thing, right? Where I've been doing like a live movie watch on mummy movies from Universal Monsters, but it's nice to tackle one of these movies in this format, right?
Absolutely, dude. Like Wolfman, by the way, werewolf is my favorite monster. Like if I wanted to be a monster, it would be a werewolf. And this is the first time I ever saw a werewolf in live, you know, or on the screen. And not even the screen. I watched it on VHS as a kid.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I love the Wolfman. I got like as a kid, like every year I played a Wolfman, probably like from third grade to probably sixth grade, maybe, when I really stopped Halloweening. I was basically a werewolf.
Yeah.
And I love this movie, and I can't wait to review it.
Hell yeah, man. It was one of my favorites from the Universal Monsters, that era. And I mean, I love all of those films. I love all those characters. Great. This movie is truly phenomenal to me. And we also got a fellow Wolfman aficionado. It's Dylan from Dylan's Comics. My man, what's up?
What up, boss? Glad to be here, man. This is the one I've been waiting on, man. I think I was telling you this is the one I was most excited for. But
see, and that's what's crazy is because we're watching all these great things, like all of Phantasm, all the Romero stuff, all this stuff with gore and guts and just greatness.
Yeah.
But it truly is the Wolfman that stands out head and shoulders above the rest of them, man.
Seriously, man. This is the one that started it all for me, for real.
Hell yeah. Speaking of head and shoulders and the one that started it all, we're talking about Mike 06. What's up, Mike, the voice Matthews? How you doing, buddy?
What's up, guys? How everybody doing tonight?
Doing good. I like the shirt, bro. Station. Let's get a station in the chat.
Station for Strickland.
Yeah.
Station. Hashtag station for Strickland. Speaking of station, we got Brooks in the house as well. The Mario Micro Master Mutant Wolf Monster.
You guys like not going to make much ado about my entrance, you know. Don't get too excited.
Well, it's because I always give you this elaborate ass introduction. You're just like, hey. So I was like, let's flip that.
Like I feel like there should have been crickets going or something like.
Anyway, tonight we're talking about The Wolfman. Now, raise your hand if this is your first time watching it. All right, that's nice. This is the first time this has happened during Horrorfest 2020. So, of course, it came out in 1941. It was directed by George Wagner, but it was written by Kurt Siodmak, who is the man, like Bram Stoker, who cemented what would become vampire mythology. Siodmak cemented what would become werewolf mythology. And he borrowed a lot from vampirism. But, of course, back in the ancient legend, werewolfism and vampirism were kind of very much related in the folklore.
Dracula transformed into a wolf.
Yes, exactly. And you know, until Bram Stoker, until this movie, that's when these legends became concrete. You know what I'm saying? But I love this film. It stars Lon Chaney Jr., of course, the son of Lon Chaney, a very amazing actor, a troubled man, a troubled actor, but he does portray this tragic figure so well. Overall, I love The Wolfman. This is one of my favorite monster movies. I love werewolf films, and this to me is the pinnacle of a werewolf film, and it doesn't really get much better than this. And I know we live in a world where we have An American Werewolf in London and The Howling and Curse of the Werewolf, the Hammer film, but The Wolfman takes the top cake. I love this film. Lon Chaney's brilliant. The atmosphere of it, it's foggy, the trees, the silhouettes, it's just so beautiful. The music's great. The performance is amazing. The makeup's great. I love this film. Jelani, what do you think about this film?
Yeah, dude. Everything you said times two. This film is like it's honestly gold, because when I rewatched it, and I haven't watched this movie in years, but when I rewatched it, I forgot there were like so many little nuances in this film, like how he's Larry Talbot is such a tragic figure, and you feel bad for him the entire movie. I'm like, this is none of his fault, although except he did want to move into some dude's girl. That was a little creepy, but it's still the story itself holds up. Claude Rains is amazing in this film.
Oh yes.
There's so many great characters that you can just pull from. Ralph Bellamy's in this film. I forgot all about that. He's Randolph from Trading Places.
Trading Places.
Yeah, dude. Randolph. Yeah, it's just such. I forgot he was in this movie too, and it's just there's so many just little things about this village, and we'll get into the scenes and things like that. But like one really gets me in this movie, and it's kind of realistic how a town would react to a wolf man attacking, and it's just it is. It's
As
so
one
real.
can imagine.
As one can imagine it happening. This is good. But I love this film, man. It's short, sweet, to the point. The atmosphere is great.
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful film, man. It provides the atmosphere. The music's great. It provides it. Yeah.
Yeah, all of it's together. The makeup is fantastic on the Wolfman. I mean, that's how I wanted to look when I was growing up, or like when I want to do my Halloween costume. So I definitely love this film because of all those things.
Yeah, I bought a kit one time to make myself up like the Universal Wolfman, and I didn't quite get it. But I don't think they gave me enough hair or spirit gum. I'm just gonna say that. But the wolf snout was something I used for years to come. I would just glue the wolf snout on and then have the teeth, and I would be the Wolfman.
That's the Wolfman.
Yeah, that's all you really need, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, Dylan, I know this is one of your favorite movies, man. Tell us why.
Man, it's nostalgic for real. Something I watched with my grandfather growing up. I told you so many times that he used to put all these on repeat. I actually saw, because I actually had the old school VHSs he had when he passed away. I grabbed all the VHSs me and him used to watch with all the classic covers. And man, this movie, man, is just, because he never bought into all that, nudity and crazy gore. He loved the classics, and I love them, man. I love every single one of them. But the Wolfman, Zombie? Yeah.
No, he's not an Italian horror fan, I'm sure.
Nah.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome that you got that connection though, Dylan.
Yeah.
This one always stood out. I'd say this one and maybe like The Mummy. I always forget about that, but me and him always loved The Mummy. I think he just always loved Boris Karloff as well.
Yeah.
But this one always stood out because him and my father always just loved the Wolfman over everyone. So this movie was just always one we watched growing up. I just always remember watching this as a kid. Like, even my dad, man, like, I got out a cool thing to show. I'll show you before I have to bounce. But it was something that he gave me and he bought before I was born. Just because, like, my dad, he's not much for, like, collectibles and stuff. Like, here and there he would. But this one thing, that's how much he loved the Wolfman. You'll see it, man. It's dope as hell. But man, I love this movie, dude. It's I can't, like, every time I see the the gypsy campground, and I always forget that's Bela Lugosi, man. Every time. That's how good he is.
Bela.
He's so good in it, man. He's so good, and his name's Bela in it too. But I love him in it. That's actually like him and the other gypsy. I always forget, Lady Maliva or whatever. There's just so many great characters. You get Claude Rains, the Invisible Man.
Yep.
Like, it's a phenomenal cast. It's a phenomenal story. I think Lon Chaney Jr. is just he's so charismatic and he's so funny, and I smile every time I see him just talking to the girl and just being so kind of calm but like nervous, and just kind of like a true gentleman in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. I love this movie, man. It's so good, and they just don't make it like this no more, man. They
No, they
really
No,
don't.
they don't. They
It's
don't.
really a true classic.
Yeah, it is a true classic, and Chaney's got this ability to bring a lot of charm and tragedy to this character. And it's
Yeah.
a very
He
relatable
really
story.
does.
Yeah, it's a very relatable story, and I'm glad for you and your family. It's a very generational story, and that's something that these Universal monsters have become. Is you have people that watched them when they first came out, people that watched them on the re-release in the 50s. It's become generational. People like us that watched them on those VHSs that you mentioned. Like I used to check those out of my library all the frickin' time. Speaking of checking out, what's up, Mike? What'd you think about the Wolfman?
That's a great film. I really enjoyed it. This was the third Universal monster film that I watched when I was in a youth. So Creature, then the Mummy, and Creature, Invisible Man, Wolfman, then Mummy. Frankenstein and Dracula were last. But yeah, it's a great movie. I think Larry deserves everything that he got. He's kind of an ass.
That's really bold to say. I think, whatever.
He has his moments.
Shouldn't have bought that damn cane.
Look,
Yeah.
like he was trying to charm me, like he's being a peeping Tom, being a creep, looking through the
He didn't
telescope.
mean to, but he
He could have turned away.
He fessed up to it.
Look, that whole
Yeah.
thing comes across as creepy today, but I'm just going to say this. They had a chemistry. That's
They
all.
did.
Yeah, I know they had a chemistry, but she's just like, "No, I'm good." Like, and he's like, "Well, I'll see you here at 8." And,
Hey,
like, he's being cocky.
she
so if he
came
wasn't
out
being-
with them earrings though, didn't she?
Yeah, but she was also waiting on her. She was waiting on her friend Jenny. I'm just saying that if you know,
No, I get it. There's a lot there, but I want to think
he never showed up. He was that guy cocky. They could have stayed there and watched the reading. Like everything would have been fine.
okay, I can get that. I do love the idea though that when she's like, "Here's my friend Jenny," he's like, "Well, sure." And then I love like, yeah, who doesn't want to roll up into the
With
the
two
fair?
ladies.
They're basically going up to the fair, with two partners on you know what I'm saying? Like, hell yeah, that's fun. And I think that they had a genuine connection. Like I know that he comes off strong, you know what I'm saying? But overall, I like the film. But I'm glad you like it overall, even though we can't acknowledge that that's kind of creepy ass behavior. Like if that was in a movie today, that dude would be the killer. It wouldn't be like an accidental curse of the gods or anything like that. Yeah, but it wouldn't be an accidental curse of the gods. Like I said, it would be an actual.
And I like how this.
Did he really deserve all that? Come on, man.
I mean, he's
a nice guy. He's a really nice guy.
He's a nice guy because everybody's really respectful of him. His dad, the family. Jenny's mom really hated him. So
Yeah. Well,
we'll talk more about that in a little bit.
You gotta think she brought that friend almost as like kind of like to keep him off her back the entire time, to be like, just in case he's like a bad dude. You know what I'm saying? Like girls do that still to this day. But like if you ask them out, and you don't know that girl at all, she's gonna kind of bring a friend just to kind of, you know what I'm saying, like ease her out of it if she gets put in a bad situation where she can just where the girlfriend can kind of like whisper in here like, let's bounce. This dude's weird as fuck or something. But she don't.
I always bring a friend.
Exactly.
I'm like, Brooks, come check this chick out.
No. But
She's all right, bro.
Brooks, what do you think about the Wolfman?
I like this movie. I like all the Universal movies. I like the atmosphere. Like, I'd love to have seen like one of these sets, like back in the day when they were filming these movies. Man, I love how they use like the smoke and the mist and all this, and like the silhouettes of things. Like set up that really nice, like creepy atmosphere with the black and white.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So yeah, like I haven't seen a Universal, like one of these Universal monster movies that I didn't like.
Right?
There really aren't any.
Like you can't go wrong, man.
You can't go wrong. We're about to get into a talk of the characters and the performances, but let's take a look at the chat. Let's see who's in the building real quick. First of all, of course, we got Ruben, Cowabunga. Hell yeah, fam. What's up? 1-2 Comic Talk is in the house. How's it going? Fable's in the house. How are you doing, bro? Slow Flow Jim. Taki 616. Adam's in the house. Mummy Monday's got me hooked. Now I'm all in. Hell yeah.
Oh,
Join the
yeah.
Universal Monster train. Fable says, this is my first time seeing all of these movies. Hell yeah, Fable. Glad to be.
Awesome.
That's like, if we ever get remembered as pop culture philosophers for anything, I want it to be getting Fable into Universal Monsters. Like,
You've done it.
Come on.
Congrats, Fable.
Once again, Fable, station for that, brother. Station for that.
Station.
By the way, in the January solicits, Dark Horse has got these Bill and Ted pins. One of them are the 2 stations going like this, saying station. So, like, that's a PCP must, right? What's up, God Tank? He says, has anybody said Wolfman has Nards yet? If not, I claim it. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Nobody said it yet tonight, but John Hammertime Holshoe did say it in the PCP Army.
We did say a hell of a lot. What was that? 2 Saturdays ago?
Yeah, we sure did.
Gosh,
We're going crazy, man. It's a thing. If someone says it in the chat, I gotta, like, no matter what, I gotta say station. I'll eventually make it like a super chat thing, like $10 super chat, and I'll station, or $5. I don't know, whatever. Oh, and Stefan's in the house. He says, well, damn, we missed Stefan. Hell yeah. How can we miss Stefan? Y'all participate with us. Who were your favorite characters? What were your favorite performances in the Wolfman? I'll start. And you know me. I always got to grab the good one, but I'm going to let you all have a little piece of it too. Lon Chaney. Lon Chaney could have easily just been, I mean, his name's not even Lon. Like, what is it, Gene or something? I don't even remember what it is. It's something else. But under studio pressure, they wanted to bill him as Lon Chaney Jr. because obviously his father was a star, like in brilliant films. So London After Midnight, by the way, is the one film I wish I could see, and if the afterlife, if we can travel through time and see any piece of art, that would be the full, complete film that I would love to see. Anyway, I digress. Lon Chaney Jr. is more than just the name of his father. He is a hell of an actor. He is brilliant, and he's brilliant in this movie. Now, he played Dracula, he played a mummy, and he played the Frankenstein monster, but the Wolfman was all his own. It was the only Universal monster that was in a series of films that was only played by one actor, and he played the Wolfman. The Wolfman was his and his alone, and he played everybody else's characters, but the Wolfman's what he played the best. The makeup by Jack Pierce, we'll be getting into that, but the performance is there. He brings, like I said, this charm and this tragedy to it, and it's such a well-rounded and nuanced role that really brings you into the anguish of this guy who is, to me, an everyman who has been cursed by the gods, by fate, by universe, whatever you want to call it. And we'll get into that in the thematic relevance, but I think he's got a brilliant performance, and of course he anchors this movie. It wouldn't work without that performance. What do you think about Larry Talbot in the film, Jelani?
Oh yeah, Larry Talbot is he's the main character, but at the same time, he's a big goofy guy. He's really tall, but he's very capable in the role that he's playing. He's coming back to his father's ancestral land, and he's actually gonna run it one day. And he wanted to know, and it feels like it's just the guy coming home, and all of these things just happen to him all at once. And it's a lot to take in. Someone dies, you get bitten, but no one believes you, and all of a sudden you start turning to a wolf. So,
yeah, right. Yeah, I love that very subtle story too about him and his father and his brother, and like the drama that has happened in the past.
And I forgot all about the brother dying in a hunting accident until I watched
second son, right?
That's the whole reason he comes home.
Right.
Yeah.
And I completely forgot about that part. Like when I watched this movie again, and I was like, wow, they really could have expounded on that. It could have been something like he was attacked by a wolf or some craziness. Maybe he was.
Yeah, they do in the remake.
Yeah, they do in the remake. But I'm talking about in this film, like it's something that could have been explored.
See, but here's the thing: is like that whole family dynamic to me works better in this one than in the remake, because the remake, even though I do like it, they go too deep into it, and they try to elaborate too much into it. I love the subtlety of this. Speaking of subtlety, Dylan, what do you think of Lon Chaney's performance?
Man, I know I mentioned on a lot of it earlier. I mean, he's phenomenal. It always, I guess they kind of build him as like the Wolfman though, which I don't know if I wonder if they did that like from the beginning, because I always kind of like, man, so everyone knew he was always going to be the Wolfman. Like, you notice in the beginning when they do the intros of
Spoiler.
everybody,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
you know, I was like, spoiler, you know, but I think he's phenomenal, man. Like I said, I mean, he's charming, he's smart, and he's so much taller than his dad. So I was kind of laughing at that because I'm a lot
Yeah.
taller than my dad. I'm not that much taller than my dad, but he giants over Claude Rains. So I'm like, I was chuckling over that the entire time. But
He's a big dude.
He is,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, he's a big dude. That's what got him into the monster films. That's why they cast him as the monster. And what was that? Ghost of Frankenstein? Was it? Yeah, it was Ghost Frankenstein. Speaking of Ghost Frankenstein, Mike, what do you think about Lon Chaney in this film?
Well, he's an amazing actor. He did a great job. Other than what I said before about the character, but like, and Lon Chaney was great. It was fun. It was fun to watch. I was trying to look up how he's 6'2", so he's the same height as me. So I was trying to look up how tall Claude Rains was.
5'5" or something.
Yeah, I mean they tower each other, but then again, I'm 2 inches taller than my dad, so
I couldn't tell that Claude Rains was that short in The Invisible Man, but of course, most of the film he was invisible.
Yeah, he was invisible.
I mean, he's what, Tom Cruise size?
I always wondered, did Claude Rains actually like act in that or just voice?
Oh no, the voice was acting enough, but yeah, he was on set a lot because he's wrapped up a lot. Let's be honest, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah. Speaking of being wrapped up a lot and barely on set, Brooks, what do you think of Lon Chaney's performance in this film?
I liked it. You know, he played the part well. Like both the the regular dude and the Wolfman. Like I liked it. I liked how he walked when he was the Wolfman. He walked like on the balls of his feet, you know, because like how a dog has the pads and then the thing. So like his heel was kind of. I thought that was a nice touch, like because that's how a wolf would walk. Like he was kind of that kind of stalking, walk that he does.
Yeah, he did. It's nice that you point that out because we can talk about, he really gets to like shine as Larry Talbot, right? But as the Wolfman, he does a great job. Like you said, the way he walks, the way he stalks, that snarl, everything about it really, really works. What's another character you'd like to mention in another performance, Jelani?
Me? I will go with. Why not? I like the fortune teller lady. Miss
hell yeah,
Madame Maleva. I love
Maria Ospinskaya or something like that.
Yeah, she always got me when I was a kid because she was the one that's basically explaining all the stuff, the lycanthropy and how the werewolf deals with it, and how the grief over her son when she's talking to Bela at the gravesite or at the cemetery or wherever they were, but he was in the coffin and she just gives this great speech, and you are at rest. And it was so sad.
The path you walked was thorned.
Yeah, she's sad, but she's kind of relieved at the same time.
She's relieved that he's gone. Yeah.
Like he's free of the curse finally.
That's a great performance, and I'm glad that you highlighted it, man. She's a great character in that film.
Fantastic, man.
And she's in the next film, Frankenstein versus the Wolfman, also written by C.O. Mack. And her performance in that character is spot on, man. And her performance, it's just it's that image is ingrained in our heads. And isn't that stuff even used in the American Werewolf in London film? Isn't that that they use?
Oh,
yeah. Dylan, what's another character performance you'd like to mention?
I was gonna say, Mike, I found out Claude Rains is 5'7", not 5'5". But
I was sitting on that.
I'll go second. My second best, because I love Jelani's pick. And I'm glad. I love his performance in this, but I am glad it goes the way it goes, so that it gives Lady Maleva or Malena a chance to shine. Bela Lugosi as Bela, just phenomenal. Like I said, he's so good in it that I always forget it's him, even though I know it's him. I'm always so
he plays a great character,
iconic Dracula look, clean face and everything. and looking like the Count. And this one, he looks like a gypsy, and he just does a great job. Like rubbing his head. I
that scene
love
with
it.
Jenny, where he's like telling the fortune and like,
Yeah.
Why are you telling fortunes right before the full moon, bro?
Yeah.
You know what's up.
You know you're a werewolf.
Right.
Why was
You're
he
not
wearing
surprised.
Why was he not wearing that necklace? I'm surprised his mama didn't give him that necklace. What was that
does
about?
would the necklace even have worked? Like maybe the necklace works on the first night, but of course Lon Chaney takes the necklace off and gives it to the chick, but it doesn't even matter because she's not bitten by a werewolf. Yeah, Gwen.
Right.
Yeah. Herminio just stopping in. He says he's at work, stopping in, say station.
Hey, Herminio. Station.
Mike, what's a character / performance you'd like to highlight?
I want to talk about two. One being we talked about the, oh crap, what's her name? The gypsy lady. Molov, is that how you say her name?
Maliva.
We talked about her with the mystical side of everything, but we got to highlight the doctor because he does bring a little bit to
lycanthropy. Yeah.
And he explains the scientific side of it, like, oh no, this is what it is, and it causes people to do this. And he explains like the lupin, like I can't remember what he calls it, the lupin,
lycanthropy.
Lycanthropy, yeah. So that was kind of interesting to see. It was just schizophrenia. I thought he did a great job of bringing everything in, and as a central character, it was a small role, but then again, like he was always out there.
Yeah, Warren William as Dr. Lloyd. Yeah.
Right, and then the other one, it's just a small role, but her name is Doris Lloyd, and it is Miss. She plays Miss Williams, Jenny's mom. I think she's really vital to the role. It's a small role, but she's very vital. Because when she's in the shop and she wants to see Gwen, and she's like, "Where is she? Like, where's that tart? Like, why is she stepping out with some other guy?" And then Lon Chaney shows up and he's all angry. And then like later on, when they're at the funeral of the gravedigger,
oh yeah,
and she's like, well, look, there he comes. Like, look, he's so evil. And it's like that's slander. And it's like it's such a small role, but like her scenes are just so key in character development.
Oh, and it leads to that powerful scene when he goes into the church and everybody starts looking back towards him, and I love that. That's one of the reasons why the story is so engaging is it's not just about a dude who gets bit by a wolf and becomes a wolf. It's not just about that. There's a whole lot more going on. These characters are relatable. Yeah, it's really great, man. And those are good highlights, man. She does a great job in that role.
Well, she makes that great point of the that nobody was murdered in this town until Larry showed up. Yeah, it's like Larry shows up and all these murders start happening.
He's the outside element. He's the outsider coming in to the village that has always been kind of the same. Speaking of always the same, Brooks, man, we can always count on you. Not necessarily to be the same, but always to be Brooks. Brooks, what's another character / performance you'd like to highlight?
I like the father.
Yes,
Claude Rains. Yeah. I mean, because I especially like
Sir
after
John.
After when he's talking to these all these other guys, and he's asking the doctor about lycanthropy and all that stuff, and like they saying like there's something wrong with him. He's like, he has that. He's like, no, there's nothing wrong with him. He's just a little rattled. He wants so much for there not to be a problem that he's kind of overlooking the problem, which I think is like his tragedy in the end. And that by the time he finds out, it's too late, and he's looking down on his deceased son that he ends up beating to death.
It's like he didn't want to leave him though. He's like, "Are you going to stay with me?" Right? He's like, "No, I have to leave." But as soon as he left the house, he wanted to go straight back for the hunting party at the end.
Yeah. It was Claude Rains does such a great job in this role. And it starts in the very beginning when you can tell that he is filled with regret that he has not had a relationship with Larry because the other son has died. Right. And as soon as Larry mentions that, man, and he's always making excuses for Larry. And I love his, he runs this town. So he's the Lord. Right. So I guess he's basically kind of like a mayor figure or something like that. But like, if you notice, the doctor and the police guy, they're always at his place talking with him about the murder investigation involving his son. But that tragedy's there, and he does so much with so little in this film, and it's absolutely brilliant. But speaking of so much with so little, the style of this film is so great. First of all, the story is great. Kurt Siodmak, who did basically create werewolf mythology here, creates a great script with very believable and compelling characters. And then the style of the film, it looks beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Like all of these monster movies from the Universal era look beautiful, but this one I think really kind of stands out above the rest. That forest set with all the silhouettes of the trees and the fog, and it is so freaking just perfect. And that is horror imagery nowadays. You know what I'm saying? That was literally game changing. It was innovative. It's that tone and that atmosphere, and then the music is so great. So the whole style and structure and substance of this film I love. What do you think about the story and style of this film, Jillian?
Yeah, man, I agree completely. It's like they knew that they were setting up a kind of like a stage play for film, and they made their sets, and the sets feel like they are in a stage play, but it feels like it's there. It does give that atmosphere. I love the woods. I love the silhouettes. I love the mist. It gives you all of those feelings. And on top of that, the town itself, the location they picked for that town, I mean, it looks great. You see,
it's the backlot. It's the backlot of Universal, and that's why it looks so great. I love that the setting of these movies, and Wolfman really kind of starts cementing it, but it's in a bunch of these films that it's supposed to be like in London, or not in London, but like in England or Scotland or something. But it's also got aspects of like Germany, and then you got like Romanian gypsies rolling through, and you've got like these like this world that Frankenstein, Dracula, and the Wolfman take place is like a magical fictional land that I just love. They really need to dive into that if they want to do a dark universe thing,
That would be nice. I agree.
Absolutely. Dylan, what do you think about the style and look and story structure of the film?
Man, I absolutely love the atmosphere and the aesthetics of this movie. Like, I wish I could see the the woods and the fog, like, just in person. It's every time I see it, like, I get like giddy, man. Like, I always think of like Rick Baker when he said he worked on the remake and they were like filming the gypsy scene. He's like, fuck yeah. He's like, we're doing a Wolfman movie, dude. Like, getting like a kid. That's how I feel when I watch it, man. Like, I'm just like, dude, like, it's so well done, man. Like, they just like they don't do it like it no more, man. Like, they don't make it like this no more. And even though that, like you said, that's a backlot of Universal, like it could look like some regular woods, you know what I'm saying? Like, just some creepy ass woods. And I just love it, like, everything about this movie. It's so well done, man. For me, it's just everything is so well done for me. I love everything about it, man. It's just, I can go on and on,
Oh, absolutely. Like, here's the thing. Like, if you could really big ball it, and have a mansion and do whatever you wanted, I would want to have a whole like giant room that looked like the woods all the time. I just walked in there, there'd be fog rolling through, creepy,
oh my God.
The wolf coming up, the Wolfman, and that's where I would keep my like life-size Frankenstein monster and Dracula and werewolf and Wolfman and mummy and creature and all that shit, right? Aesthetically, cool. The movie is so freaking pleasing, and if you watch the remastered Blu-ray, it looks so fucking good. This movie holds up, and the story is one of the reasons why too. The story, even though yes, all of these movies are just over an hour, the pace of this film is perfect. Like, its structure is so freaking well done.
Quick.
Oh, absolutely. What about you, Mike? What do you think about the style and tone and story of the film?
Well, I was just going back and rewatching the one scene that I wanted to talk about. It's the first transformation when he kisses the girl and he's like, "There's a werewolf in camp," and he starts having the freak out, and it's the quick flash.
Oh, that super psychedelic scene, man.
Yeah, it's just layers. It's just the film spliced the way it's cut in with an overlay, and so it's really, I mean, that's really like it's not that easy. It's easy now, but back then, like that was still groundbreaking. I love that the Wolfman doesn't show up until like 42 minutes in.
That's like over halfway into the film.
And I think, and you're talking talking about the sets, like it's this movie. It gets me because you can look at this movie and love it and watch it and understand and like, oh wow, this is really, you really truly appreciate it compared to today. Like if that was today, it'd be outside. We gotta go. Oh, it's gotta be real. We gotta be real. It's gotta be 3 hours long. Like you can't like. No, just take it back to the studio and create it. It's so much easier, so much cheaper.
We're gonna do this in post. We're gonna do the transformations in post.
Yeah, and then like the first Bela is a wolf. No, he's not even a wolf man. He's a wolf.
Yeah.
Which is cool that they saved that for. So they don't show really that transformation. They save all that for the Lon, which is really cool. And then, but it's I mean, everything is great. It's got the smoking gun at the beginning with the cane and the silver and the what's that thing called? The pentagram, which is also funny. Is this was a socially acceptable movie back in 1941, right? I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Well, it's just so funny that now today, like, oh, if you base the movie around a pentagram, like the church will raise some hell about it.
Well, if you notice, they don't even actually use.
They don't show an actual pentagram.
The real one. They do their own like, version of just the star. They don't do the actual pentagram. Right. But Mike, here's a question I want to ask you. As you are, Mike, by the way, is a brilliant photographer, right? Your Instagram, is it Mike06?
Yeah.
Check out his work. It is absolutely fucking beautiful. As a photographer, what do you think about the photography of this film?
It's not the photography in it. It's this is all comes down to the lighting and being in the studio and pulling off a lot of that, especially with all that with the marsh effect. Like that is a lot of lights and dimmers. I don't realize. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's not that hard. It's a coffee can. It's a metal coffee can. Like that's, you got a light in a coffee can. That's it. And you're diffusing it with either cloth or cardboard or something. Like that's what you're working with in the lights in the 40s. Like it's not like lighting today is so much easier than what it is back then. And that's where you get a lot of this. It's just that sharpness of everything, even in because it's the sets and then the town, but the what's that called? Crap, I can't think of that word. The principal photographer, the one that's responsible for all the sets and all the scenes and the way that the storyboard, the way it flows, get everything set up. That person knew what they were doing. I don't know who it is, and I don't have time to look it up. But like that's more than what the director would do, and he really knocked it out because he's also responsible for making sure like all those scenes and everything is set up perfect. So one of those
yeah.
So
hell yeah.
It's just that lighting, man. Like when you look at that marsh, and it's just like that's what he sees, and that's what he has to create. And it's just like, no, if it's not right, if it's not perfect, and it's great too because like there's no ground, like you never see the ground. It's all covered in fog, so it's funny when they're running through, and it's just like they don't fall down. There's no like, it takes away the real, like, it's like, oh, I'll trip over all those trees in the swamp. There's going to be some roots sticking out everywhere. Like you're going to lose your footing. Yeah. So even the hunting stand that they did was
they just made with some like trees apparently, like real quick that night.
It's like a quick, small little deck where a traditional hunting stand for something in that area would be like 5 to 6 feet off the ground, not like the 2 feet off the ground. So so there's a lot to this movie on the cinematography style that has to do with like the fine detail, everything. But like, if you want to look into lighting and stage lighting for stuff back in the day, like that's a challenge. So
Speaking of challenging, Brooks, what do you think about the style and story of the film?
I mean, it's good. Like I said earlier, like I love it has that classic Universal monster style with the the fog and the creepy dead trees, and
Oh yeah.
it's just good. It's good for horror because it's got that kind of dark. It's what you think of when you think like of like a kind of a scary atmosphere.
Yeah, it was game changing. It's like everything from Dracula and Frankenstein and the Wolfman and the Mummy have become like haunted house staples
Yeah,
now.
like the castle on the cliffside,
Yeah.
the lightning and the lightning striking in the background.
Spiders and
Yeah.
the only thing that didn't
Spider
work
webs.
were the armadillos.
Yeah. They tried to make them creepy. They're armadillos.
Didn't quite work. One of the things that
Yeah.
works so well in this film, though, is Jack Pierce. And any time to talk about Jack Pierce, which we have talked about on Mummy Monday, Jack Pierce was the makeup artist at Universal at the time, the head of the department. He's the one that created the makeup for Frankenstein's monster, for Boris Karloff's The Mummy, for the Karis Mummy, for the Wolfman. So this makeup was beautiful, and some of Jack Pierce's best work. The transformations, they get more elaborate. This was towards the end of his career. He eventually got replaced because he didn't like using the foam rubber type stuff and the easier things. He did it supremely old school. We're talking about spirit gum, cotton collodion, whack, like fucking yak hair and shit. And like Jack Pierce is an idol to me. And when like Dylan mentioned Rick Baker is such a fanboy of these films, and hearing him talk, I relate to him. Like he's my homie, basically, because I have the same joy and passion. He actually got to take it and become like, he actually got to do the Wolfman, and the Wolfman makeup in the remake is so freaking good. And it harkens back to that original look. And I love what they did with so little, the implication of a wolf snout, but it works. And Chaney was able to act through that makeup, and all of Jack Pierce's work is beautiful and brilliant. What do you think about the makeup in this film, Jelaine?
Yeah, dude, the transformation, especially the feet. Something about the feet they did that. I mean, it looks like feet. Like you really see the detail, the small transformation of it, and I like that progression and how you can tell it fades and it changes.
Yeah.
I love that. He did Werewolf of London as well. He did the makeup for that. It was a lot more muted in that film because it was just the face.
Rick Baker did the American Werewolf in London.
No, not American Werewolf in London. I'm talking about
Werewolf. Oh yeah, Werewolf of London.
London.
Yeah, you're right. The Werewolf of London is the first werewolf film, basically.
It is,
but it's mostly forgotten because of the power of the wolf.
Because of Wolfman.
Yeah. They held him back from that. His initial tests for that were more like the Wolfman. Yeah. And then they held him back because they wanted the actor's face to actually come through. And
right. And Henry Hull, the guy that plays him, he looks great. I love that.
Yeah, he looks great. They call him the Elvis werewolf.
Yeah, he's very suave. But going back to this, that was the original Wolfman makeup that led to the Wolfman, the way he looks, and he got it down pat. Even that little fro he's got, man, it's awesome. I love all of it, and I love how he's like the Wolfman is just his feet, his hands, and his head. And he just has this like Dickie suit on.
Which, by the way, because when he first transforms, he's in a tank top and his slacks.
He's in a tank top and slacks.
He transforms and then changes clothes.
It's like, I got these clothes.
I love it.
Wear these.
Speaking of transforming and changing clothes, Dylan, what do you think about Jack Pierce's makeup effects in this film?
Dude, I mean, and anybody who like Tom Savini, Rick Baker, all those guys, man, they idolize the man. So any of your favorite makeup artists, they worship Jack Pierce, and they take from him and try to make it better, But dude, think about the some of the crazy chemicals and just hassle that Lon Chaney and Boris Karloff had to go through.
That shit would burn their eyes, man.
Oh man,
yeah,
the vapors going through their nostrils.
Yeah, dude, they like talk about the craft of art, you know what I'm saying? Like, and they went for it, man. These guys, they suffered through this craft, man, and they busted their ass, and it pays off. You know, these movies will live throughout the years, but man, Jack Pierce, dude, what can you say, man? I mean, he's just phenomenal. He created all the iconic looks, man. I mean, there would be, you know, nothing to like take from if it wasn't for guys like Jack Pierce. I mean, I just love how he did the Wolfman. That is the iconic look to me. I love, like how you said, how Rick Baker, he just emulated that, but just kind of tried to advance it and modernize it a little bit, and you know, make the snout that way and make it a little bit more, you know, meaner. I guess is he actually says he tries to make it a little bit more, you know, badass and meaner because it was more modern. But man, like just an icon, you know, an icon. Like I really don't hear a lot of people talk about him too much nowadays. I feel like I'm really glad you actually brought him up too, because I didn't see it in the list. But yeah, because this is the only Universal one we got to talk about this year. So yeah, man.
Oh, don't worry, we always do one every year, and this year was the Wolfman. And yeah, the makeup took 5 to 6 hours to apply and an hour or 2 to remove in this first film. And it was originally designed for Henry Hull, but it didn't make sense in the plot as well, because in the plot he has to wear a disguise when he goes out.
Yeah.
So imagine he turns to a
wolf, and then he was just like, I'm gonna be cool. Put this hat on.
Or whatever. Kind of like The Thing or something, you know. Speaking of Ben Grimm, Mike is the Ben Grimm of my life. The Ben to my Reed. What is up, my man? What do you think about the legendary Jack Pierce's makeup effects in this film?
That transformation scene at the end, when he goes back, 10 hours. They're like it was like 10 seconds on screen, but it took 10 hours to shoot.
Yep.
So it's just like it's insane of what everything can do and whatnot. I was looking it up real quick though. It was Joseph A. Valentine as the cinematographer for this film. Yes. His big thing was Joan. His big thing was Joan of Arc. That's where he won his Oscar. Nominated for.
Yeah, it's a beautiful film, man.
Wow, Joan of Arc.
Yeah.
Wow, nice connection, dude. I never thought about that. Yeah, that's a beautifully shot film. It's an eerie, atmospheric film, man.
It's a great early period piece too. But that's what. He died in 49. So, but he was. It looks like between 38 and 43 was like his big run. And he was nominated for several Oscars and only just won one for Joan of Arc. But on the special effects of this, like that's the crazy amount of insane time. Like you've got for Lon Chaney just to sit there and to take all of that. Like that's a mentally strong person to sit there and not move for 5 to 6 hours while they put these little fish hooks in you at times to do it. And that first transformation of the feet, like Jelani said, like that's when you see he sits down and he's like he's checking himself and he's fine, but then it starts on his feet, and then just the whole, and he's in the outfit to move around. If you do look close, you can see the separation of the glove and his natural skin.
Yeah.
But it's like it's real quick, so you don't see a lot. You don't see a lot of it, but like it's still. Like something simple as just putting on the glove, like that's still insane of how much practical effects are so much. I'll take practical effects way any day than CGI because it just doesn't do the same. You can do so much more with practical effects.
Absolutely. Speaking of doing so much more practically, Brooks, I don't know why that was a good segue, but it felt to me like it was natural and it was aligned with the stars. Speaking of aligned with the stars, what do you think about Jack Pierce's makeup in this film?
That was great, and I think like the challenge was to make this the Wolfman's like a whole new creature because he's not a wolf and he's not a man. He's like you had to pretty much like make this creature just from the idea of merging these two things, you know.
A wolf man.
Oh,
yeah, it's like.
Man,
I think the face is like the best part hands down was this Wolfman face. Like that's what you think of it, you know, like the slick back hair, the crazy fucking jowls and shit, and those crazy eyes he has.
Mhm.
And I love that short ass snout, man. I love that.
Yeah, it's perfect.
It
And
is
it's
perfect.
great setup too, because I mean they use it in Curse of the Werewolf has amazing makeup too. The Hammer film with Oliver Reed, it's got amazing makeup too, but none of them quite are like this one. And then I remember being blown away by like American Werewolf in London and The Howling, where you actually, you know,
The actual transformations.
yeah, you know. But
Yeah.
I always in werewolf films want to see a wolf man and not, I guess, a werewolf. You know what I'm saying? And I love the Wolfman makeup and how it works. So, what is this movie about? There are obvious themes throughout it. It has a lot to say about a father-son relationship. It has a lot to say about the duality of man, the nature of good and evil. It has a lot to say about the nature of superstition versus science and the amalgamation of the two. Jelani, I want to know what this movie says to you.
Yeah, you set the duality of man, and that's a big part of this film. It's our darker intentions. It's the worst parts of us are that go inside of this wolf, and that's what that's basically the primal aspect. Yeah, of what a normal man, a regular guy, likable, lovely every man gets turned into a beast, but it's still his darker self. It's his darker urges. Like a werewolf is actually a satanic beast called by the moonlight. And that's exactly what it's portrayed as. It does a great job of telling that story. It goes into that history, like you said before, with is spiritually with Lady Maleva and the doctor explaining lycanthropy. It is how these two things can come together and how it's in the man's mind. I honestly think he could have stopped it. I don't know. I think Mind Over Matter could have worked, but that's what I think it was.
Well, that's good. That's a good thing, and that's a good thing in long form werewolf storytelling is that you can kind of get to the point where you can will it away, like Oz eventually does in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, until Willow fucks it all up, if you remember. So
she does that.
But no, that's great stuff, and the idea that the change represents that darkness that we all have within us. You know, that other side. Speaking of that other side, Dylan, what do you think? I want to know what this movie is saying to you, bro.
It says a lot. I'll probably go the one thing I always go for, and it's subtle, but I honestly think it might be one of the biggest parts is almost like the father-son connection between Sir Talbot and Larry. Because I believe that's like the last one of the that is one. I know it's one of the last scenes, but I forget exactly when it cuts. But to seeing him transform at the end, and then him, Sir Talbot seeing his son laying there, and now him being, it's just Sir Talbot now. He's lost both of his sons, and like we've mentioned throughout, I absolutely love seeing those subtle moments where Claude Rains, who doesn't get much in this movie, but he just kills it with, him not having that great relationship with Larry, him kind of always having the better relationship with the older brother, and him and Larry going to America for 18 years and them having kind of a rocky relationship, and him coming home and Sir Talbot just trying everything he can for him and Larry's relationship to work this time, because he knows that he will have to carry on the Talbot name, and that's how I worked back in those days too, where that the name was so important, especially with rich people, like all those pure bloodlines and everything, and taking care of the manor and living up to the family name, and you can just see the grief in Claude Rains' face when he sees, his son transform from this beast into, his son, his boy that he saw grow up, and it's and that touches on me a lot because, like I said, this is a deep one for my grandfather who I don't got with me no more, and my father who he's not. I haven't always connected with a lot of those things with my father. It's hard to kind of like my father. He likes certain things and I like my own things, you know what I'm saying? But this is one thing we always were able to bond over. Even when I told him I was getting ready for the review, he gave me the one thing that I want to show before I have to go. And he's like, make sure you mention the cane, which I can't believe I actually forgot talking about the cane because somebody else, we were talking about the cane. He's like, make sure you talk about the cane. That's a real vital part of the movie, And I thought that was funny. He was throwing little nods in there for me to say.
I've always wanted one of those canes, and every time I see one like to buy, like they're so fucking expensive.
Yeah, they're expensive. That was a $15 cane back then.
Because when you think of how the Wolfman dies, you always think of Silver Bullet, but actually in this movie, it's a cane.
Cane.
Yeah. I love that cane, man.
Dylan, thank you for sharing that, man. I love what this movie means to you, and that makes it mean even more to me. Mike, what do you think this movie's saying? What is it saying to you?
He who makes a beast of himself gets rid of the pain of being a man. He didn't really embrace the beast. He was more afraid of the beast because it's the fear of hurting the other individual, hurting the people around him that he cares about. And so instead of just being wild and embracing it, he could have had him and Bella could probably have had a great life if they've just were like, okay, like this is what it is, and this is what it does.
Lock yourself up.
But a lot of that,
notice the wolf.
A lot of that has to do with the fact that it's not the moon that changes. It's the plant. When the wolf's bane, it's in
blooms. That's right.
So that's kind of an interesting take on it. So you don't get the monthly, like it's more of a seasonal. So you could actually like if it's only when it's only when it blooms, then that could be like what?
It's the autumn time. It's the autumn time because that's the poem when the autumn moon is bright. But it changes to the moon, and then this is the only one where the famous rhyme ends with autumn moon is bright. And then it usually also now from this point forward, it will say when the moon is full and bright. But that dude, you just said one of like super profoundness that I was not expecting. The idea that he did not embrace the beast within, that it was that fight with the monster within.
Yeah.
And that's what we see. People's lives can get wrecked when they don't recognize the monster within. When they put up a face saying, this is wrong. This is irreprehensible. But meanwhile, they're actually feeding that inside and it starts taking over. That's when you're out of balance. Mm-hmm. We have to embrace the beast within us. Holy shit, Mike.
Well, I say, when you get me on a movie that I know and that I've studied and that I've done research on, like I'm a little weak on this one, but I still know enough.
Oh, dude, no, you're very impressive tonight, Mike.
Like New Jack City, I've seen that maybe twice in my whole entire life. This movie, I think I've seen this movie at least 100 times.
All right.
So,
no, I really appreciate that. Was profound, and that actually ties into something I'm going to tie everything up with. But before we get to that, let's get to Brooks. Brooks, what is your take on what this movie is trying to say to you?
Oh, the thing that I noticed is the nature of the werewolf's curse is always that one werewolf dies and then spreads the curse to somebody else, and that kind of is like a lot of things as humanity as a whole, we have these like negative things from our history that we just can't seem to shake. They just keep getting passed down on through the generations, even though we may not want them to, but they just keep going, and it's like the cycle just has to keep continuing. In order for this guy to be free of the curse, he has to give it to this other guy. And it's not fair, and it's kind of shitty, but that's just the way it is with these kind of things.
I really like that. You tied in the theme of a werewolf film into the theme of a lot of ghost films, including The Shining. About the repeated terrible history of mankind and the sins of the fathers haunting the sons, and this literally has a father-son dynamic in it, and I mean that's very prevalent. Kurt Siodmak was a Jewish German who had escaped Hitler's Germany. And so it was very real to him when he writes the mark of the star being the mark of death. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of stuff going in here. In fact, I think his biography was called like Under the Wolves Below or something. It was a very common idea and notion to refer to Nazis as wolves, right? And so for Kurt to write this movie where he's definitely dealing with some of those themes from his own personal life and his own personal demons, but to recognize that the wolf, or maybe even the Nazi, lies within. That goes back to that beast within.
Wow.
I think this movie is ultimately about the place of chaos in the universe, straight up. And so what I'm saying is this: it goes back to Greek tragedy. Kurt Siodmak wanted to make a Greek tragedy in the modern day for 1941, and in a lot of those stories, it's a modern, everyday man, a hero, maybe even, if you will, maybe a little bit more boisterous and loud and charming, like Lon Chaney is presented as Larry Talbot in this film, and usually they are through no fault of their own. And that's one of the things I love about the Maliva, or whatever her name is, when she says, the path you walked was thorny through no fault of your own, right? Mm-hmm. These people, curse of the werewolf, like they're literally cursed by the gods, like the ancient Greek heroes of the tragedies were. They're cursed by the gods, just as we are cursed by chaos and fate, if you will. Cursed by certain conditions, certain, just situations in life, characteristics, addictions, demons, all this kind of stuff. The beast within that we're all cursed with, right?
Yeah.
You can embrace it, or you can fight it. And I love that's why I love what Mike said, because that's the other side of this, is like the universe throws this chaos at us. And it's no fault of ours what happens, because the universe ultimately is, and that's a point that Claude Rains' character makes. He says there is no good or evil in this universe. Doesn't he says that in the film.
Mm-hmm.
Most people think there's good and there's bad, but we honestly realize there's many. It becomes way unclear when you really start looking into it. And so the universe will throw these things on this curse, the werewolf, for instance. Larry never did anything, I think, to deserve this.
Not at all.
But when life curses us, it is what it is, and we got to do what we got to do, and we can embrace the beast within, or we can reject it and fight it. And I think usually it's the fight, the turmoil, that leads to more imbalance. And so maybe we all need to make peace with the chaos within our own life.
Going back to what the Claude Rains said, I want to say that he did say, like, he described, like, you're describing the wolf as your darkness, like it was the wolf was the mythical creature that lives inside of him. So, but that was oh crap! I just went blank on the timestamp on that. Yeah, I meant to bring that up. Also, was that speech that he tells, and he's like, "Hey, this is what it is. Like, this is your light and your dark. There's two wolves inside of you. Which one do you feed?"
Yeah. I love it. This has been a great, wonderful discussion on the Wolfman.
Yeah.
And it's almost gone as long as the film, so it could almost work as a commentary on the film as well. And we're definitely going to hit that mark, because now we're getting to the ratings. So you out there in the chat, I really want you to join in on this one. Y'all been quiet tonight. I hope y'all spark up and back chat. But out of 5 possible you digs, what do you give the Wolfman? You out there in the chat, and you, Jelani.
Okay. Well, it is high rewatchability. It's a classic. It's iconic. The music is fantastic. The special effects are amazing. It's all encompassing. I love this film. There's nothing like it. It's one of my favorite Universal horror monsters, and I will, of course, give this 5. I will definitely watch this again. I might watch it again tonight, depending on how I feel. It's just that good, and it's something that needs to be watched by if you love horror, you need to watch, first of all, the Universal monsters. All of the Universal monster movies, just get them in a row and just watch them, because that's how I started in it. I watched VHSs as a kid, VHS tapes of all of these movies as a kid. I love them, and they're just so good. So I'm glad I had the opportunity to review this one. So I definitely give it a 5.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. 5, a perfect score from Jelani. Dylan, what about you? Out of 5 possible you digs, what does the Wolfman get?
Can I give it a 6?
Yeah, but we'll round it down to a 5.
I know, I'm just messing. But yeah, obviously I'm gonna give it a 5. It's my favorite one out of all the Universals. I love all of them. Like Jelani said, man, if you haven't seen them, you gotta see it. Honestly, man, even if you're just any type of movie fan, these are movies you gotta see, man. Just to see the appreciation of where film has, where it came, and how bad it's gotten to this day. But in all seriousness, I love this movie. I still have my VHSs that I used to watch with my grandfather, and I just love the artwork on these, man. It is but like Jelani said, man, I've been watching it in the background. If you see me tilt my head to the side every now and then, that's because I've just been peeking over at it. I could watch this movie day and night, man. It never gets old. And I'm so glad that I was able to review this one with you guys, man. This was really one I really looked forward to, man. I thought you almost picked this one for me. I know you just love. I don't know if it was luck of the draw.
I did pick this one for you, Dylan. I want to do Wolfman. I don't want to do it with Dylan.
Man. This was awesome, man. Especially for my first year doing PCP Horrorfest with you guys, man. It meant a lot to me, man. So I was glad to do this one with you guys.
First of many, my friend. First of many.
Hell yeah.
Horrorfest
dude.
Horrorfest is going to be bigger and badder next year, but don't worry, we still have a whole week to go. You just wait and see what's coming. Mike, what do you give the Wolfman out of 5 possible you digs?
I give it 5. Pretty much all Universal gets 5. It's the staple for whatever a lot of things have done. The movies we get today are based off of this, so that's why I give it 5.
Hell yeah, great score. 5 perfect scores so far. Let's see if Brooks continues the trend or fucks it up. Brooks, what do you give the Wolfman?
Yeah, I give this one a 5 too. This is like this is a really good one. Like when I watched it and I kind of didn't. I thought it had a little pacing problem. Whenever I thought about it, when I really thought about the themes, and what the movie was trying to say, I was like, yeah, this one actually is probably a 5.
All right, and I'm going to continue the trend and give it a 5 as well. This movie's perfect. I mean, to me, for its time, it was groundbreaking. The makeup effects, the atmosphere, the cinematography, the story. I'll be honest, I love all of these Universal monster films. This is one of the best written scripts out of all of them. 100%. This is it. This is great. It defined. This movie is as important as Bram Stoker's Dracula. It cements a horror legend. And it leads to not only all the other werewolf films that come from it. And by the way, a great triple feature to have if you got the time. If you're looking for movies to watch for Horrorfest and you want to have a triple feature one night, a perfect one is The Wolfman, The Howling, and American Werewolf in London.
Yep.
They all 3 work so well if you got an evening to invest. We've done it. We did it on a Halloween night, actually, one time. I love this film. Great performances. Literally one of the best scripts of the Universal Monster era classic. So 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5 for a PCP average of fucking 5. A perfect score.
Yeah.
Joshua in the chat says, I've wanted to watch this for a while. I should soon. He says Frankenstein meets the Wolfman next. No, we don't have that one planned, but it's definitely going to be one covered at some time, someday. Let's look at the chat for their ratings. Mikey says, this is a 5-5, my absolute favorite Universal horror film, and watches as well today as when it first came out. Mikey, did you watch it when it first came out? We got Captain. We have Stefan is 4 point. No, but I agree with Mikey. It definitely
is.
Stefan says 4.5 you digs. Hell yeah. Okay. That's close enough to perfect. Fable says 5 you digs. My favorite one so far. Hell yeah, brother. And Joshua says the big 5. Yeah, I love it. So what is coming up next here at PCP Horrorfest? Well, we got a week till Halloween, and we're celebrating hardcore. So Monday night, we got Mummy Monday wrapping up. Get it? We're doing a live. I'm doing a live movie commentary Monday night on The Mummy's Curse, which is the final Universal Horror mummy movie starring Lon Chaney as Karis, the other mummy, not the Car. That will be 8 p.m. Central Time on Monday night. Tuesday night's a weekly comic book review, but Wednesday morning, you ready for this? We start 4 days of horror movie reviews. Wednesday morning, our mystery Horror Fest PCP movie review debuts at 9 a.m. Central Time. And I'm very excited for you guys to check out our in-studio in the new set, which you'll see for the first time tomorrow morning on the weekly pop culture wrap-up. But you get to see a lot of it in the mystery movie review on Wednesday morning. So look for the mystery movie on Wednesday morning. We're not telling what it is, but we watched it last night. We filmed the video. We had a great time doing it. I'll give you a hint.
Know what it is.
I'll give you a hint. It was actually mentioned tonight.
Yeah.
Then Thursday night at 9 p.m. Central Time, Horror Fest continues with Toby Hooper's Salem's Lot, the winner of the Stephen King PCP Army movie poll. And then Friday night, a week from tonight, at 9 p.m. Central Time again, Halloween from 2018. And that's going to be our final official PCP Horror Fest 2020 movie. And then on Saturday, on Halloween, at some time yet to be determined, we'll be talking about Trick or Treat over at Dylan's Comics. And if you haven't subbed up to Dylan's Comics, do so right now. They're down in the description below. Dylan, are you excited for that one?
Hell yeah. That one will probably be earlier. Not really early, like midday, because I got to go to the drive-in. But I'm definitely dumb excited for that one. And especially, I guess it worked out. I did say I wanted to do it on that Halloween, but I didn't. We were going to do it last week, but it's a good one to review on Halloween, man. It's a good one.
Absolutely. So I'm very excited. We have a lot of PCP Horror Fest coverage coming in the next week, so I hope you're down and ready for it. And don't worry. Just because Horror Fest is over doesn't mean that the horror movie reviews are over, because we got a lot planned for the rest of the year. In fact, all of our movie reviews for the rest of the year, except for the Roadhouse night with Bueller, will be horror films, including our Christmas movies. So super excited for that. So final thoughts on the Wolfman and Life, Jelani?
Don't go outside and try to skeeve off some girl. You get bit by a wolf and get turned into one.
Final thoughts on the Wolfman and Life, Mike?
You said me?
Yeah.
Sorry, my earphones were off. Final thoughts. Everybody needs to go check out the art director, the art department, the cinematographer for this movie, and study and see what they do and study what they do and look at other ones. You'll see trends and patterns. You'll recognize everything. It's a little bit different. So the art director for this film did a lot of things that I was unaware that he did, and a lot of that set design. So that's real interesting, and it's just me nerding out on that. So check that stuff out. That's really good. And don't hit on other men's women.
Very nice. Very nice. Good advice. Brooks, final thoughts on the Wolfman and Life?
Well, if you want to improve your life, you should watch The Wolfman.
I think that's true.
I think that's words to live by.
Words to live by. So, Dylan, final thoughts on the Wolfman and Life. And I know that you're dipping out. You're not going to be able to join us for Back Chat. Don't worry. We're about to take a quick break, but we will be back for PCP Back Chat and Show and Tell. But I know Dylan had something he wanted to show off. So, Dylan, show us what you got. Damn, I hit the wrong button.
Banished him.
I just...
Nice.
Oh!
You're kidding me.
So cool.
Dude, I know.
That's fucking nice.
And his last light up.
I just want to get all of our fucking reactions before I go back to you. Holy shit.
Nuts, dude.
That's pretty cool. I dig that.
Oh, wow.
It's official Universal Studios. It says Telco 1932, official Universal Studios Universal Studios Monsters. I think my dad got this in he said maybe 1990. I think it was late. I think he got it maybe in the 80s, like the late 80s. He got it at a random, it was like an exclusive to like a random drugstore. And he like I said, he always loved the Wolfman, and I think he spent like 30 some bucks on this back in, you know, maybe 88 or the 90s. Even then, that was probably, you know, still 40 bucks for this. It's a lot of money. And they had the creature from the Black Lagoon. I wish he would have got it, but he always was a Wolfman fan. But dude, look at how clean it is. Like, I pulled it out because he's like,
Look how cinched his fucking waist is, man. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
What kind of girdles he got on?
Yeah, I know.
but if you guys could see this, man, for how old it is, I mean, it's you know, 26.
That's awesome looking, man.
It's actually probably about 30 years older. The only bummer, it doesn't howl anymore. I gotta try to like go into the box because it's got a stand. It has a little sound thing right here, but it used to just howl. I want to try to see if I could fix that, but I still love it, man. It's like you would literally think I just pulled this out of the box.
Yeah.
It's so clean, man. Like compared to my Tales from the Crypt figure back there that I showed off a couple weeks ago, this is like literally perfect. I love it, man. I love his hair.
That's
so
dope,
cool,
man. I'll send you
Like
$20 PayPal right now, including shipping, to get that.
Dude, I've been dying.
Including shipping.
No way. No way. This is the only thing I got. I can't even get a freaking Wolfman Funko Pop, let alone one of these suckers. Dude, that's.
You
I
mean
know.
one of these, Dylan?
Yeah. Yup. I can't get it. You know, freaking they won't restock them or
You
make
should have
new ones.
pre-ordered it, man. You should have pre-ordered it like I did.
I don't think I was into them at that
Is it
time.
Target exclusive?
No, but it was a long time ago. Anyway, thank you, Dylan. That was awesome, man. That was great.
Yeah. That was
All right,
very nice.
PCP
Yeah,
Army, we're about to take a quick break, but we will be coming back for PCP Back Chat, where we're just going to bullshit around for a little bit longer with you guys, including show and tell. Dylan, thank you so much for joining us. The rest of you, I'll see you guys after the break. Man, this was great talking about the Wolfman, wasn't it?
It's good seeing
Yeah,
you, Dylan.
well, yeah, dude.
And remember,
Yeah.
even a man who was pure in heart and says his prayers by night may become a wolf when the wolfbane blooms and the autumn moon is bright. Hey, Brooks. Hey, it's nice to see you, buddy.
Hey,
Hey, Jelani. Hey,
Yeah.
Mike. It's nice to see y'all.
Nice to
Hey,
be seen,
PCP
man.
Army. It's nice to see y'all.
Hey,
Hey,
everybody.
Hey,
how's it
hey.
going?
We got David fucking Hatch in here.
It's David
David
Hatch.
Hatch.
Hey, a wolf isn't a dog, David Hatch.
Well, they're related,
Duh.
right? So here's
Okay,
something.
nine.
I'm related to my sister. That doesn't mean I am my
Yes,
sister.
but you're a fucking human. Do you guys mind if we start off with a cool announcement? A cool, or like, I mean, well, I've already announced it, but a cool acknowledgement for the on the channel.
Sure.
Sure.
I woke up Monday morning and checked our view number account, and we were at 1,000,004. So we have hit 1 million views here on YouTube, PCP.
Oh, 1 million.
Isn't that wild number to think about? Like, I wasn't even ever thinking about that as a milestone. And then, like, I happened to be looking at some statistics, and I was like, man, we're close to 1 million. And then, like, within like a week and a half, we hit 1 million. I was like, holy shit, that's crazy that I just happened to notice, because I rarely check all time stats. I usually just look month to month. And yeah, we've hit 1 million. So hell yeah.
So make us millionaires.
We're millionaires as far as YouTube views go, yes.
1
And we do
million.
want to thank
I want
Dylan's
a printed
Comics.
up certificate.
We do want to thank Dylan Comics for being involved in Horrorfest with us this year. And subscribe to Dylan's Comics if you haven't already. We're going to try to get them to 1,000 by the end of the year. Hopefully we can get to 10,000 by the end of the year, and hopefully we can get Dylan to 1,000 by the end of the year. But you can subscribe to him in a link down in the description below. David, thank you so much. A station. PCP hitting 1 million. Look out, YouTube. PCP Army is building. You know it, Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
You fucking know it. So how you guys been? What y'all been up to?
Pretty good, man.
Have a good day today? What did I do today? I woke up. I slept in, brother, because we hung out late last night.
Yeah, we did. Did.
Yeah, and so I went
I
back.
didn't go to bed till like 2. No, actually 2:30.
Yeah, I went to bed at like 2:33. So I slept in, and I got up. I went and got my paycheck. I ordered big shakes because DoorDash delivered it to my house. So I had some catfish and some chicken from Big Shakes for lunch. Watched some bonus feature documentaries and stuff on the Wolfman Blu-ray, obviously. What else? I did the weekly pop culture wrap up. I filmed a segment for Bueller's 100th episode of the Coffee and Comic Show for Monday. I filmed that and got that sent to him today. I went to the grocery store and bought beer and chicken tenders and French fries and face wash. And we did this show, and I watched The Wolfman. I've had a very well-rounded day, yet have not read a single comic. So I might have to fix that. I might have to fix it. Yeah.
But you didn't have to use your AK. So
I got to say it was a good day. How was your day, Jelani?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, I had to work. That's per usual. I had workers in my apartment this week putting in new like countertops and backsplashes to my walls and fun stuff that they're adding that probably raising my rent too, but I love it. It looks great. I got new mirrors and everything in the apartment. They're gonna do my carpet soon, so that's gonna be fun moving all my action figures. So yeah, it's gonna take a long time.
Oh, no shit.
But
Riveting.
it's all good. Yeah, that's pretty much my day was good. I ate a little bit. I had my leftover big shakes.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I looked it up. And I was like Grub South, and I was like, Grub South doesn't deliver big shakes to my house. So I just went and I was like, I Googled everything I could, and I was like, DoorDash does. And it's like, dude, I was so fucking hyped because I didn't want to go there and deal with the line because it just opened. And if you're not aware, Big Shakes is like, did it start in Nashville, Mike?
Yeah.
And it's a hot chicken fish place.
Hot fish.
Oh my god, it's so freaking good. It was so delicious.
Well,
I got Executioner, and it was fine. So I'm down for this one chip challenge. Speaking of the one chip challenge, Mike, how was your day?
It's good. I went to bed this morning at about 7 o'clock. Woke up at
do better.
Well, I was in bed. I went to bed at a fairly decent time, probably like 1:30, somewhere between 12 and somewhere between 12 and 1:30. I can't remember. But I remember I've been working on this project, and I had an idea, and it hit me. And usually that's what happens is something like I'm about to fall asleep, and then all of a sudden, like, oh, wait a minute, this is what you need to do for the idea and the project. And that's what usually happens, and that's what happened. So I was working on it. Robbie knows because I've been playing the hell out of that song at work.
That song's been stuck in my fucking head, Mike. I love that song. I love it. It's a staple now for the rest of my life, brother.
Blame the Dead Deads for that one.
Dun, 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 dun.
We'll play it for you. We'll tell everybody what it is later. But yeah, it's 80s based, so that was my whole thing. And
cool.
I woke up.
So you've had a productive day as well.
So I was working on that and then completely scrapped it, and then woke up about 12 to a message to them where I had to change a bunch of stuff. And so I did that, and then I had to take care of the contest for the Deep. I did that from the house today.
Oh yeah, we get a winner. Nice.
Yeah, we got a winner.
We gave away 2 tickets to the Bruce Campbell thing tomorrow night.
I was 2 or 4. I can't remember.
2.
I thought you said 4.
Bruh.
So I don't know. I can't remember. 50.
Somebody's gonna be like, "Where are my tickets?"
Well, the thing that I got originally was 2 tickets, and then it was just like, and then the email that I got, it said you're giving away 4 tickets. I'm like, oh, so I changed it to 4 tickets.
I thought they said 2 were for us, but I don't think anybody took them or whatever. Like, we're busy. We're going to watch Halloween at John's tomorrow.
Well, we got.
We were going to do that last week, and then I got sick and fucked up everybody's schedule. That's why we're not streaming on Dylan's tomorrow night.
We know that's why Heather's opening, so she's going to go to the 7.
All right, Brooks, how was your day?
That's pretty good. Spent most of the day just playing Fire Emblem Heroes on my phone. And I went to my parents' house for dinner. Saw my nephew and niece. They ran around and were crazy for a while. Watching. Is the Dodgers Rays game over yet?
Oh, I didn't even fucking think about it today.
They were up by 5-0 when I left. It was
the Dodgers?
The 4th. So
the Dodgers?
Yeah, Dodgers were ahead.
Oh yeah, cool. Is the game over yet? Is it final?
Yes.
Nice. Dodgers up 2-1. Yeah, fuck the Rays, man. They beat the Yankees. Fuck them. I'm glad they beat the Astros. But go Dodgers. Fuck that shit. Though they beat the Braves, so that kind of sucks. But the Braves lost that shit.
Yeah.
Anyway. That was a nice little segment. We all got a personal slice of life from each of us. You know?
That's what we always wanted to do.
Oh, man.
Well, I was going to say, and then I continued to do some more work, and then I went
Mike's
to the
like,
Deep.
I'm not done talking about my day.
We got to the Deep.
Like, bro, the bit's over,
Yeah.
man.
I wanted to get to the point where I got to see Delaney today in person.
Yeah.
Oh, do it.
We
Do
hung
it.
out. Oh yeah, we did hang out.
Yeah.
And
Chillian's like, oh, I forgot. Yeah,
Well,
me and
there's-
Mike did hang out.
we did hang out today. That's
It was
right.
so quick. It didn't even matter.
Yeah, I had to run and do this thing, man. But yeah,
Yeah, tell us about it. I'm anticipating now.
I got a ton of figures. We talked about stuff and
Oh, were
things.
you at the shop
You
or
get that
something?
chromed out
Yeah.
Stormtrooper?
No, I was thinking about it, but I changed my mind. I don't want to get everything chromed.
I thought that was the Captain Phasma figure.
Was it?
Yeah,
Fa-
that
I
kinda
don't think it's
looked like
Phasma.
that.
It looks like Phasma, but I think it's just a regular Stormtrooper. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
it's a
think
joke,
It's a regular
bro.
Stormtrooper.
I know,
Brooks,
it's just a joke because it's chromed Stormtrooper.
Did Brooks want one? Brooks, did you want one?
He's getting excited. Get it, man.
He actually already passed on one, but now you got him fucking thinking about it again. Look at that.
Yeah.
Well, I had one held for Delaney, so I was just making sure.
Thank you. But I'm good. Yeah, I just want Mandalorian stuff, man. The Mandalorian will never
We don't have
die.
a Stormtrooper.
Yeah, big shakes. Yeah, son. I need
Yeah,
I need a
them
t-shirt.
Chrome Stormtroopers, man.
What'd you say?
He's
Don't
getting
make
one.
them Chrome Stormtroopers.
Good stuff.
Did you say you want one?
Yeah.
He wants
Okay.
one.
Okay. All right, let's move on. What do you guys think about well, I know what Jelani's going to be getting. Let's just get to it. Jelani, well, what do you think about the news that first of all, Joe is it Joe Mangi what's his name?
Mangione?
Mangiello? What's his name?
Mangiello?
Deathstroke.
Yeah, Deathstroke.
He's coming back to do Snyder's Justice League, and so is Jared Leto for the Joker. What do you think of that, Jelani?
Why the hell are they doing a Snyder? Who cares? Wasn't that movie a piece of trash anyway? And then they're like, "Oh, the Snyder Cut's supposed to be better," but that whole universe was trash.
Yeah, but I asked you what you thought about Leto and Manglietti.
Here we go.
Coming
Here we
back.
go.
His name is not Maglietti. What's his fucking name? Is Magliano?
Mangiolino.
Mangalino.
I mean, he didn't do any. I mean, I can't really say because he was only in like 2 seconds at the end of what was that, BBS or Justice League? I mean, so it was the end of Justice League. So
we had a league of our own.
And then Jared Leto was trash in the Suicide Squad. Although I think the parts that they cut out were going to be the best parts of Suicide Squad. Thank you, Mike, for making me watch that film. But I mean, if he comes back as that like tattooed silver tooth, made no sense.
I recently watched Blade Runner 2049. Like I got it at Walmart in a 2-pack with Blade Runner: The Final Cut, and I watched it.
Oh,
and,
nice.
Yeah, Jared Leto's in that movie, and he's damn good in that movie.
Good in that movie.
Jared Leto's a great actor.
Watch that and heard that guy was playing the joke. I'd have been like, yeah.
I've been excited, but he sucks in the film.
When Leto got announced for the Joker, right? Yeah. But I was not excited once I started seeing the shit. And that's when I started being like, well, when I say, well, I'll just wait and see, that means I'm not excited for it. Okay. Right. So when I go, I'll just have to wait and see, that means I'm not excited. Okay. Right. But I can't cast judgment until I see it. And I actually haven't seen Suicide Squad, but from what I've heard, they cut out all of his good bits.
Cut all his good bits.
He doesn't even like it, but I'm excited to see him come back. I'm excited for that. It can't be at most. It's just like a scene, but sure. What the fuck ever. This is like literally the only shot, right? Like what happens though? Let's say this happens. What are they planning? Like, do they hope that this brings in a mass amount of subscribers to HBO Max? That's obviously what they're planning on, right? Well, they should have fucking launched HBO Max with this, because when they launched it, it didn't hit. Not like Disney Plus did when it hit The Mandalorian, right? Then it sees drop off, because it's all about what do you got for me right now, right? With these streaming services now. And that's why you should just jump from them, right? But they're expecting a lot of people, I guess, to come in. What happens if a lot of people do? Are they going to allow Zack Snyder to do another movie? No. Is that a possibility at all? Or is this just a $30 million investment just to get people over to HBO Max?
I think that was exactly what it was. I think
I don't know. They're spending some money, bro, to get Leto, to get these people back. Like, do you think they're bringing these people back without the promise that there's something more on the horizon?
Oh God, it's gonna be terrible.
I'm serious, Mike. What do you think about the news?
Okay, I mean, I agree with you. Like, I thought HBO Max should have been the whole jumping on point. The release point, like, hey, like this movie is ready, we're releasing this. But I think the whole thing we're going through right now made them jump the gun, and it's like, we've got friends.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, that was their like initial selling point, like rolling it.
Yep, it's kind of like
everybody's like, but we've already watched that on Netflix.
Well, I mean, like if you're gonna be at home and you want to watch Friends.
If you want to watch Friends, you can literally buy the DVD sets. If you don't care, if you're not like a snob, you can get the DVD sets super fucking cheap anywhere.
Yeah, I have HBO anyway, so I get HBO Max as like a bonus. The only thing that I like about HBO Max right now is Raised by Wolves. Raised by Wolves is by far one of my favorite things. That's the Ridley Scott show.
I haven't watched it yet, but I like Lovecraft Country.
Yeah, Lovecraft Country is awesome.
Even if the ending fumble a little bit, I think.
If you don't have cable, that's the way you get HBO.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is. Because it's basically got everything out there.
And they're getting all the decent
everything that you see on HBO is basically on HBO Max.
Yeah, and they're getting all the
and
DC
they're DC universe.
Doom
Yeah,
Patrol, Teen Titans, all that shit. And they're rumoring a Swamp Thing season 2 possibly. Who knows, right? But
yeah.
And like that's what I'm just really waiting on all that before I get it, because I'm still watching Community and Midnight Gospel and a bunch of other stuff on Netflix. So like there's more stuff I want to watch on. I mean, there's stuff I still want to watch all the Westworld. Finish season 3. I still want to do.
Okay. Yeah.
I love season 1 and 2, so I want to really want to
season 3 is 3. Season 3, yeah.
So
well, you haven't watched season 3. Season 3 is pretty decent.
Well, that should be everything. That should be everything in the real world. So
yeah, it's everything in the real world, and the real world is screwed up, man. It's beautiful though. I love it. I love
about?
Westworld.
No, I mean about the world being screwed up.
It's like the real world of this section is controlled by this gigantic computer called Jeroboam, and Jeroboam basically plans the lives of everyone. Basically, how Westworld has storylines, the world itself is controlled by a gigantic computer. And I'm not spoiling anything. That's just what they said at the very first episode, and it controls pretty much everything. And how
spoil the first episode.
Nah, not really. It's the first thing. I mean,
you get to watch that one for free, so it's no big deal.
Yeah,
Brooks.
So, I'm about to.
Westworld season 3 is awesome.
Brooks, what do you think about the news that the Joker and Deathstroke are coming in to the Justice League Snyder cut?
I mean, I'll watch the Snyder cut, but I don't have high hopes for it. Like,
as you should.
I don't know, man. It's like,
that's fine, man. Have y'all's opinions. I don't give a shit.
Like maybe it'll blow me away. Maybe I'll be like, whoa, everybody was hype was right. But I don't think so. I think I'll probably enjoy it enough. But
you enjoy almost anything enough.
Necessary, really.
Yeah. You like a lot of stuff, man.
So we got to have another movie night last night. We got to do an in-studio review on the new set. We're not going to talk about the movie yet because obviously it's a mystery until Wednesday morning. But what you guys?
My friend Tony's delicate sensibilities, though.
Well, that's fun. Is that our friend Tony came, and Tony does not watch horror movies, and he literally just came to hang out. And I was like, "Well, we're watching a movie, and we're not just watching any movie, bro. So it's gonna be disturbing, probably, to somebody of your sensibilities." And I'm just gonna say this: I'm not trying to spoil our review, and we're not gonna even talk about the movie, but I have never really watched ever a movie with a grown man where literally half the film he starts doing this and he just turns his head.
He takes his head off,
man,
his face, and he's scared.
I would have paid to watch that.
He's so scared.
I would have paid to watch it.
He watched the slow parts of the movie, but then when it started getting scary, he's and the gore happened.
And then honestly, let's be honest, in his review, he kind of shits on the movie.
Yeah, the entire time.
And I'm like,
he's passing judgment on us too for enjoying
how dare you love this movie? What happens?
Like y'all bad. Y'all bad.
He called us
nasty.
He said we were nasty motherfuckers.
Yeah. I was like,
y'all some nasty motherfuckers.
That's what he said exactly.
Y'all some nasty motherfuckers.
But he doesn't watch them. He just doesn't watch stuff like that. Apparently, when he was a kid, his brothers forced him to watch scary movies when he was little, and he freaked out over them. And ever since then, he just will not. He just refuses to watch them. It's too gory for him.
Okay,
it's weird.
You know how we play the scare game at work, right? We scare each other.
Yeah,
Robbie. Okay, so. You cannot play that game with Tony. You cannot. I heard his brother, Tony has told me stories, and his brother has told me stories. It is not you don't want to play this game with I can't tell you. You just gotta ask Tony about that time his brother grabbed his leg.
Oh gosh.
Anyway, moving on.
His brother was under a table and he couldn't see. So he just grabbed Tony's leg and Tony wasn't expecting it because it was just out of the blue. His brother had been sitting there for like 2 hours waiting for him. So
That sounds about Tony. Yeah.
Brooks, Brooks, what do you think about the new set?
It looks nice. Like I'm not too big on the whole Power Rangers shelf, but I mean you got the Transformers and the Master of the Universe there. That's cool.
Well, the toys they change. You know, you can put different things.
I think like just like an entire shelf dedicated to just Power Rangers is a bit much. Just a bit.
For you maybe, but I think maybe an entire shelf dedicated to X-Men is maybe too much.
That's different, dude.
Is there an entire apartment?
I could give an entire shelf to Aquaman. Would that be too much?
Yeah.
I could do that,
if
bro.
you could make a shelf dedicated, well, you could probably. Actually.
Yeah, I could. I guarantee you I could. Jelaine, what do you think about the new set and filming on it? I loved it. For instance, we were able to get 4 people on the set and actually have a good angle, I think. So
it looks good.
Yeah,
I'm glad. Fun. Yeah, I like the set. I like the space. Oh, the space. We're not in there. We're not in your cramped room doing it again.
This cramped room.
This cramped room.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
it's very cramped to do 3-piece videos in here. It's cramped to do 2-piece videos in here, to be honest with you. Hey, we got a super chat from Mikey. Mikey says, I want to thank you guys for what you have done with this channel and the community you built. It feels like we're all friends in a room laughing, the best medicine in these challenging times. I could not agree more.
Thank you, Mikey.
And you know what the super chat means. Thank you so much, homie. Thank you so much, Mikey.
His name is Hellboy.
His name is Hellboy.
It's like I think about it every time you play that Joker clip now. That song just kind of pops into my head. Let me tell you about this little guy that I know.
His name is Hellboy. It's infectious. It's a really good song.
I have no clue what that is.
You don't watch the live shows. It's like, okay, so the little Joker bit that just happened, right? That's all it is. It all started because I was like, hey man, I want to get this Joker van from Toy Biz, right? And I was like, I have an idea. What if I could get my YouTube audience to pay for it, right? And so I was like, and actually I didn't even come up with the idea. It was someone, I was mentioning it on a live stream and someone gave me a super chat and said, this is for the Joker van. And I was like, yeah, let's do it then. Every other super chat's for the Joker van. And people threw in money for the Joker van.
Wow.
And then the next week, we're like, let's do the Joker van. And I cut together the video of the Joker clapping and I put the Joker van in there with it. And so I was like, if someone gives me a super chat, I'm going to cut to this video. And then we funded it like that. You know what I'm saying? And I got the Joker van. We did a video, an unboxing, and it's legendary in PCP history. Is the Joker van, and the PCP Army are incredibly supportive, and we have a great army. The generals are over at Patreon.com/PCP, and they're generals, and they get the weekly comic book review in an audio format that they can download hours before it drops on YouTube, and that's as little as $1 a month. But those are the generals, and the PCP Army are just amazing, right? And so then the Joker's song became a thing. That every time we get a super chat, we're going to play the Joker video with that fucking song. And that song comes from the YouTube library, right? It's just a song that YouTube's like, you can use this song, you know? And so I'm like, hell yeah. And it's so ridiculously dumb. And I used to have like this cheering that goes with it, but I actually felt that was a bit too obnoxious. because some people don't like the Joker thing. But then one day randomly, I was pretty probably drunk on the stream, and it was playing, and my mic was live, and I started singing the song. I looked over right here. There's a Hellboy poster, and I started singing a fucking random song about Hellboy, and I actually cut that out, and it's on the channel now. You can check it out. Pop Culture Philosophers Hellboy song. It's on.
Oh, look at Hellboy song. All right, we'll check it out.
Look at that, Jim in the house. Shout out to the
Hey,
PCP Army.
What's up, man?
Good to see you, homie. How you doing?
Dude.
Loved your reviews this week, man. Mikey says, can you believe some people didn't like that video at first? It was a little war among us, a little Joker war. Brooks just took a dump on Robbie's Power Rangers. He sure fucking did.
I don't care about Power Rangers, bro.
No, he doesn't. Good that you're doing well, Jim, man. Thanks for joining us for a moment. Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Jim Mint will probably be going live Sunday morning. You definitely need to check him out. I'm sure he's got a video tomorrow morning.
Yeah, man. You got beast statues out there, man. They are beast.
Dude, and those omnibuses. I want that Marvel horror one, man.
Yeah.
I was waiting to see his review of what it actually was. Now I'm like, I want that. I want to know what was in it. Hell yeah. What were we talking about? Oh, we're talking about Power Rangers. Yeah, you hate Power Rangers. That's fine, Brooks. I don't give a shit.
I don't hate them anymore. I'm just kind of disinterested, I guess.
He did say that last night. He was like, why you got so many fucking Power Rangers? And I was like, he's never said that before. There's always been a ton of Power Ranger shit around.
Yeah,
all of a sudden, Brooks has a problem with it.
Yeah, but I mean, it was like then they were scattered throughout, the place. But this is like a whole shelf. A shelf of like Power Rangers, like from one end to the next.
They were all on one shelf to begin with. They just moved shelves.
That's a lot of lightning collection.
Plus, my Zords are all like on like one shelf right there, dude.
Mm-hmm.
What is, bro? I'm staying with it.
All right, that's fine. That's why whenever we do show and tell and I do a Power Ranger things, Brooks is just like, chat, throw us out a question. What do you want to talk about? We want to interact with you. What do you want to chat about? Ask us a question. We haven't got any questions from the audience in a while, I didn't go live this last weekend. So the last time I went live was last week when we did Phantasm, which, oh my God. Can we just reflect real quick on how great Horrorfest has been? Like, this has been such a great selection of films, man.
No patting on the back, but you did a good job, man. Picking these films and picking these films and the ones we wanted to watch, and they're all fantastic. Everything we've watched this year has been wow, and even the Friday the 13th, which we're coming up on, those are crazy. But everything that we reviewed, I've loved. I mean, there have been a few things that don't get me, but
Phantasm 3.
Phantasm 3, Jesus.
4 and 5 for you.
That freaking kid ruins that movie every chance. But yeah, everything's been fantastic, man.
It's a great selection, but it wasn't just me, it was all of us and the PCP Army. They're the ones that picked Cabin in the Woods, Salem's Lot, which is still coming up, and Reanimator. They're the ones that picked that.
That's right. And thank you for Salem's Lot, because I sure didn't want to do Misery. Thank you for not letting me do Misery.
I'm excited. I haven't seen Salem's Lot in forever, and it's a mini series, so it's quite long.
It is long.
Yeah,
I found them already. I can't wait to start watching them.
Hell yeah, Brooks, you excited for Salem's Lot?
Yeah, I've never seen it.
It's good.
It's one of those Stephen King miniseries that I missed back in the day.
Yeah.
It's better than the remake.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that one. I'll tell you that.
And I watched them. When I watched them, it was the first time I got the 2 discs or the 2 VHS set from Hollywood Video when we worked there.
Yeah, I remember. Back in the old days.
And I watched both. I watched them back to back. I think I missed class. I was in college back then and missed class to watch Salem's Lot. It was nuts, man. I was very, very impressed.
BJ wants to know, why does Batman not kill? Jelani?
Batman doesn't kill because his parents were killed by a gun. He vowed that no one will ever die by his hand. He vowed it, made it so. So basically, that's the main reason. And that, you know, when you see variations of Batman with a gun, it looks weird, but some look pretty cool.
Mike, why did Batman not kill?
Because his family was killed by guns, and he don't use guns anymore. He did when he was beginning.
Well, you don't need a gun to kill. I mean, let's be honest.
He kills him with a batarang.
Fitting. He does kill in his first go around.
You can drop somebody
for his kind.
You can drop somebody off a building and kill them.
I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to
save you.
Brooks, why does Batman not kill?
Well, Batman's about upholding the law, you know, despite being a vigilante who's outside the law. Like he's not like the Punisher. He's not waging a war so much. He's like, the way he sees it is he's doing what the cops, like the crooked cops, refuse to do. Like, you know, when a normal cop would look away from a crime, he's there to, you know, make that right. And it's not about, you know, passing judgment for him. It's about, you know, bringing injustice to light and seeing that, you know, criminals are punished or rehabilitated. You know, Batman's not a judge, jury, and executioner. Batman's a detective. You know, he's about justice.
Yeah.
Just
You know,
like
I
lightning.
think the biggest thing is, you know, everybody's got to draw a line at some point somewhere, you know, on anything, because everything else is relative. So you got to draw a line, and Batman drew a line. He's like, I'm not going to kill. You know, murder affected my life, and he has accidentally killed people. You know, that's in canon. And but yeah, he doesn't kill because he also just doesn't want to be on the level. Now, let's be honest. Should he kill the Joker? Probably.
Probably,
You know,
yeah.
he would save more lives, but maybe that should be up to the fucking state. But he legitimately is a mentally disturbed person. We're just going to kill mentally disturbed people with mentally ill problems. Maybe if they've killed a body count like the Joker, I'm surprised that just no random ass fucking person has ever killed his ass.
Killed him. Yeah.
Like, that's who's going to kill the Joker. It's just some random ass motherfucker who's like, yo, it's the Joker. Pop. And it's done. It's finally over, right? Just some random, holy shit, kill him. Get rid of him right there. You know, Punisher, you know, he needs to show up in Gotham.
Do you understand how much street cred you would get for killing the Joker? Like some random thug just kills the Joker, that dude would be a god.
Yeah.
The most unbelievable thing about the Joker myth is that he hasn't gotten got. Like, this, come on. You know what
He
I'm saying?
doesn't care. Like he does all these crazy things. He just like, you know, throwing himself to the wind, but he just somehow always he survives.
Yeah.
Against all odds. I think that's kind of the nature of his character, though. He's the wild card, you know.
Yeah. Taki wants to know: are you guys going to start doing reaction videos?
I don't know what that is.
Well, not in the way like, you know,
We're
where
not going to watch footage and then react to it.
yeah, it's a
While it happens.
It's a really popular trend on YouTube right now, and our friend Perry's had some success with it, where he will literally watch a movie and film himself watching the movie, and he'll react to it to the camera, and then he cuts it together with footage from the movie as he's watching it, and it's really interesting and cool. But it's nothing that we're going to do here. This is our movie reactions right here, basically, when we do these kind of things. So. Yeah, we're not going to really get into reaction videos. Now, I always react to trailers in the weekly pop culture wrap up sometimes. For instance, tomorrow morning in the newest weekly pop culture wrap up, I react to the Monster Hunter trailer. Did you guys see that? The Mila
I did
Jovovich
see
film?
that.
That trailer looks bad.
It looks awesome. Yeah.
Bro. Like,
The CG is insane. I'm
looks
glad it looks decent.
really fucking good.
Yeah. I wish they had the armor though, like from that game. If you're gonna do it,
based on the video game series, Monster Hunter?
Monster Hunter's based on video. Yeah, they need.
I don't care about the armor because I don't even know what it is. But that trailer looks badass.
It
does. It really does. I would love to see that in the theater.
Jim said one word: justice. That's why Batman doesn't kill.
Yep.
Or how does Joker hang in a fist fight with Batman?
I think Joker has to be more skilled as a fighter than we give him credit for. Because not only does he hang with Batman, but like he's intentionally not killing Batman you know. And I think he probably could sometimes. Like just one of his off the wall gimmick tricks. Like he could kill Batman, but he never does
Easily.
because he doesn't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't. Here's a question from Mikey, who graciously gave us that super chat. Says, my big question, what generally popular or celebrated horror films do you guys just not get into?
Oh, okay.
Ooh, Jelani, start us off since it's easy for you.
Easy for
Simple.
me.
Rob Zombie's stuff. The Hills Have Eyes, The Devil's Rejects. I just don't. I mean, I never got into that stuff. It just, it feels like, and I hate to say this, it feels like white trash horror, and it's just like, I don't. It's not my bag, and it's just the way they're shot. I just think they're not the best. But I mean, I've seen Sid Haig. That dude is creepy and crazy, and I think if he was in other films and other stuff that I would see, I mean, I'd love it. But like, I'm just not into those films. I don't know why. Just not. Always been a turnoff for me.
Well, you immediately stole my answer. I'm going to be honest with you, bro.
Really?
Damn it, man. I should have gone
Sorry,
first,
dude.
man. Yeah, it's the Rob Zombie stuff. I just don't
The
like
Rob
it.
Zombie
His
stuff.
Halloween remakes,
So
the
trashy.
Devil's Rejects is better than House of a Thousand Corpses, but I just don't like them. Even I'll be honest with you, even things like I really like and appreciate Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but I'm not a fan of the franchise.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
and
the first one.
and
The
here's something that's crazy. There are movies that I genuinely love, and I do watch, but I watch way less frequently. Some of these being like Last House on the Left,
yeah.
The Hills Have Eyes, those Wes Craven films.
Yeah.
Those movies are incredibly impactful. And Maniac. These are movies that I think are very powerful, but at very way unnerving that I don't like watching very often. You know what I'm saying? But I still watch them. So maybe they're not lumped in, but I got to think a little bit more. But Mike, what about you? What celebrated horror films do you just not get into?
It's funny because we actually talked about this week outside. Because you did not like. I like the Rob Zombie. I like the Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpses. And what 3 to Kill, whatever the last one was, can't remember what it is.
3 from Hell.
3 from Hell, yeah. I those were more action adventure-y. The West Texas, that grunge, that dirtiness, the grindhouse. I'm not a big fan of torture porn or slasher. It's got there's just a little bit of there's just something about those that I don't care for. Like. It's like Green Inferno. It's one of, like, we talked about that, and it's just like I kind of want to see it, but I kind of don't want to see it.
Yeah.
And then like Hostel 1 and 2, like I really wanted to see Hostel, but then it was like, well, this girl has torture porn in it. And I'm like, well, I'm out because it just doesn't like the Saw franchise. Like, oh, it's like cool. You did an original story. I think it's awesome. The second one, oh, it's just the same thing, but like, oh, there's a different twist. Like, I don't care. Like
that's all of them. That's all of them.
I know. So it doesn't. So that's why I said like stuff like Hereditary, Lighthouse, like stuff like that.
Okay. I still haven't watched Lighthouse yet. I need to watch that.
I'm almost done with it, and it's great. But like I said, like the psychological stuff is what I'm more into. So Robbie needs. I know he needs to watch Hereditary.
Yeah, you need to watch Hereditary. You need to watch The Witch.
Well, y'all need to watch a lot of things too. What about you, Brooks? What kind of celebrated horror did you just not get into?
Well, like, I've stated my feelings on the Hostel movies. As far as that goes, it's not just the torture aspect and the gore aspect, because I like movies that have that. Like I like the Evil Dead movies, and they have that kind of stuff in it. But I don't like horror movies that just use that as an excuse to have boring, bland characters that you don't care about, or unlikable characters, or just it's just a dull story with some gore effects and shit thrown in.
Well, I mean, did you like?
That just can't hold my attention.
Did you like revisiting the Friday the 13th franchise?
I actually did, in spite of myself, enjoy the Friday the 13th movies, because I know they're not good, but just having if you watch it from the beginning and just kind of watch how the franchise progresses, I think you appreciate them more.
Well, I think every movie has to be judged by also what it attempts to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know? and
Well, those have a little bit of camp to them. So
Those movies got neutered like after the third movie.
Yeah, they
Like,
did.
as far as like the violence, and
Cutaways.
stuff. It's like
Just all cutaway.
they cut away from so much, and you're like, what?
Why did?
But that's
I
the
wanna
whole
see
thing about this movie. Like,
the crazy thing is, we remember Friday the 13th as being so gory, and 2 of them are done by Tom Savini, right?
Yeah.
But, like, yo, like,
It's
no,
gone.
not compared
It's
to like
cutaway.
like what we watched last night. You know,
Not at all. Not at all.
Not at all.
You did not turn away.
I'm
But
glad. I'm glad you got to show Strickland that the scene too. So
Oh yeah, yeah. He sees some other scenes. Wookie Warrior 23XL says, "What up, guys? Great job with this horror fest. Been watching a few on AMC. Caught Silver Bullet last night. Love that movie. Great movie." Fable says, "Watched the original Alien with my son for the first time. He jumped at a few parts. The movie still holds up." Yes, it does.
Mhm.
Yes, it
It
does.
is terror.
yeah, I guess that's another thing that I don't like, which Fable just kind of mentioned, the jump scare. I'm not a fan of those. Like, it's a cheap scare because it's like, oh, you just increased.
Oh,
the
but
sound.
it's
it
effective.
can be
Dude.
used to effect, but like if you use it sparingly, I think it works better. You know?
Yeah.
It
But I
works in things, man. It works in movies like Scream's got great ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
like,
like
Halloween's got good ones because they build and
Yeah.
the tension, the technique that's involved in making a good jump scare is great. But when all it is someone just jumping up like a jump cut and a quick whack,
a
that's
loud
lame.
sound like
That's
that.
lame.
But I'm saying, like, but that's what a lot of them like. I can
But-
appreciate some of them, but most of them now are just they're lame. To
The
me.
best ones are the ones that get you at least 2 or 3 times in your life. And that has happened on movies for me, like Halloween, for instance. Like, they still work sometimes.
Well, it's like the
Sometimes
Born.
like you can see one coming and it still gets you.
Yeah.
It's like the Born Identity. The Born Identity has a jump scare in it, and I
A
hate
lot of action movies do, man.
Yeah,
I
they do.
hate
It's
that. It's like-
effective. No, it's a great way to like jolt your audience, man, because sometimes it lags and you got to pop it up. And you expect that. It's literally why they used to use all those gimmicks like 3D and then the buzzers in the fucking chairs. Remember that shit?
Yeah.
Like, I've never
Yeah,
had been.
the
I never had it.
I would love to go to one of those theaters, man. And see a movie like
Television.
that. Yeah, all that kind of crazy shit, man.
I don't know.
Oh,
It's just jump scares done the wrong way. I just don't care for.
It's just for me, it's the Rob Zombie kind of stuff. I don't know, like the things that are like dirty and rednecky and white trashy,
It's
like
so
Jelani was saying.
Weird. Yeah.
It's crazy. Me and Jelani don't like the same horror,
Yeah.
and Brooks and Mike don't like the same horror. But me and Jelani don't mind the horror that Jelani and Brooks don't like. I don't mind torture porn. Let me be honest.
I
It's
love
done
Hostel.
well. Like I like
I
like
like
Hostel.
the first
too.
Saw movie, and that was kind of torture porny, but it actually had a good story and interesting characters in it.
Yeah, I get
The
it.
Hostel
But
movie
here's the
not
thing,
so
man.
much.
How can you say that you like the Friday the 13th movies, but you don't like fucking like Hostel or Saw? Like, what's the difference? It's a different
Except
response.
cutaways.
The 80s stuff is a response to failure in the Vietnam War, failure of the economy, failure of the Carter and Reagan idealism, and all that kind of shit, right? And then you have the torture porn, the Hostel Saw era, which is post 9/11, where now we're like fear. Every time fear grips American society, American horror comes out strong, and that was the response to 9/11, and that was the response to all the stories that were coming out was torture porn, and that's what we're getting to, man. And now we're seeing, if you're noticing, we're seeing emerge back in the supernatural with films like the Conjuring franchise and everything it's spun out of. But I don't know. I think that they are very valid responses through horror cinema of American culture at the time.
Well, it's like a lot of that too. I was in my bar and the nightlife. Like, I've seen some shit that's not pretty. Like, you don't want to see. Like, I don't want to. Like, I just experienced this. I don't want to go home and relax and watch this. And even when in my journalistic,
You see horror porn?
no, like I watched a guy get his throat slash and like bleed out, and like like a real slasher, just like the dude walked up behind him and just did that, and it's just like the dude drops, and it's just like, oh shit, like what, like I know first aid and CPR, and it was just like, do I go after the guy with the knife, or do I try to help this guy, or like what do you do? And just watching that, you see people getting shot. It's just not. It's not fun. And then even on when I was working for the news station, and it's just like, that's why I never made it there, because it's just like, I can't stick this camera in somebody's face and tell me how you're feeling when your loved one is dead behind us, or your house is on fire. And it's just like, that's why, like, I can't, I'm too empathetic. I can't put that camera in your face.
That kind of job requires a bit of detachment, I think.
Yeah.
I can't like, the house is on fire and I hear somebody in there, I'm going to run in to save the person. I'm not going to film it. I'm sorry. That's how I react. And it's just one of those, like, and then coming back to watching torture porn, like, we found, it was Dennis Bird, the guy that was captured by, what, I can't remember, ISIS. They cut his head off. They cut his head off.
I watched that video. Yeah.
We watched it. Like this, like, that's the stuff that we got in, like that we could watch. And it's just kind of like, that's like,
holy crap.
It's kind of like, hey, what are you guys watching? Like, what's going on over here? And then all of a sudden it's just like, oh, I didn't mean, like I'm in this for now, and it's real life. So it's just kind of like, I've seen it in real life. So I just don't really want to take it. I don't want to watch it.
I kind of get it. I kind of get it.
That's valid.
Yeah.
That's valid.
Yeah.
100%.
All right. So be it.
All right. Well, we're about to get in show and tell, y'all,
I like it.
because it's been a fun show. Yeah, I'm with Fable. I couldn't watch that shit. I don't. Whenever all that shit, like, I
never watched that stuff. Yeah,
it's like we were having this discussion last night with Tony. We were like, but it's not real, and we know it's not real, so that's how we like it. We're appreciating the art of the makeup, right, and the detachment of it. So,
our military guys, two in particular, one that kind of works at the shop that's not there right now, his stories, and Huddleston's.
Well, like,
you listen to them, and
you shouldn't use names, but I will say this: like Tom Savini, for instance, was in war, and like that's one of the reasons why he did the effects so as realistically,
like, realistic.
Yeah.
Well, Nate's
really scary, really gutsy.
Be like, no, that's not how it looks. This is how it looks.
Nate's in the PCP Army, so that's I mentioned him. The other person I'm not mentioning, but it's just kind of like, oh, hey, like, this is what I saw, this is what I have, like trading like they trade videos, like here this comes in, and it's just like what is this? And it's just like, watch this, and it's just like,
well, I prefer exploring that through a horror film, and that's why I think I like horror films, and I think that's why it's a valid thing to enjoy, even though some people will call us nasty motherfuckers sometimes. I think it's okay because it's a way to explore that darker side that, you know, just kind of lingers amongst all of us. So it's time for show and tell, y'all.
Yeah.
Who's gonna start first tonight? Let's see. I'm gonna close my eyes and just stop. And it's Brooks. Brooks, show and tell. Show us what you've got.
I just recently picked up some pretty cool figures. These Naruto figures that came out.
Dude.
So, like, they're pretty nice. Like, they're superposable and stuff, which is cool because, you know, you got ninja boys, you want to be able to pose them real good.
Right. It was Bandai. I think Bandai made
got Sasuke here. So cool. Thinks he's so fucking cool. He got his sword and everything. Yeah. But getting in, like, I wanted to find some, like, kind of werewolf themed stuff that I had. And like this guy was a pretty recent build a figure. Wendigo. Yeah, he's kind of a werewolf-ish figure, I think.
Could you imagine if in the Wolfman Lon Chaney just kept coming out going, the Wolfman?
I'm the Wolfman.
At least you know who you are.
And another wolf themed thing I found was one of my amiibos. This is a Wolf Link from Twilight Princess,
Okay.
which is just cool because I never get to show off my amiibos really because they don't really usually fit in with a theme. And I was like,
Yeah, like
And last of
Naruto
all-
fit in with the theme tonight.
yeah. And last of all, I know like everybody must have loved my top 3 Magic the Gathering zombies. So
Oh,
I
shit.
got my top 3 Magic the Gathering werewolves this time.
Nice.
We got Reckless Waif here, and she transforms into Merciless Predator.
Oh, wow.
Love it.
And then here's a Cruin Outlaw, transforms into Terror at Cruin Pass.
Nice.
Shape shift, nose to the wind. And my favorite is Instigator Gang, who turns into Wild Blood Pack.
Wow.
Blood pack.
Yeah.
Very nice. I remember
That is
having a
cool.
werewolf deck, man, and loving it.
Yeah, man. Like,
So it
I'd
was
like to-
hard to
I'd like
trigger
play
some-
them sometimes. It's been a long time since I actually got to play Magic.
It's hard to trigger some of the effects sometimes.
Yeah. But you got Moon Mist in there, man. You can just be like,
Oh, you gotta get the moon mist in there. Speaking of moon mist, Mike, show and tell. You're up. Show us what you've got.
All right, 9 times out of 10, it's you guys thanking me for finding you stuff and hooking you up with stuff. But this today, I'm going to thank Jelani for hooking me up with the Iron Man from
Yes, son.
1985. It's a great
Nice.
figure. It's a really great figure. Super posable. I love the effects, and it's one of those like I can't wait to. I ordered those bases, the flying bases, from Hasbro Pulse, so I'm waiting for those to show up.
Nice. That would be a good base to have for him.
So I mean, for all the War Machine, this one, the War Machine, and the Moon Knight, I kind of need them. So
Yeah.
they're great. Then we're gonna throw in a thing from my buddy Sam. He hooked me up with the vintage.
Nice. Snake eyes.
It's the
Come
85
in.
Snake Eyes, and then I've picked up over the last
Lady
few
J.
months, Lady J, and then got Hardball.
Hardball. I love that figure. It's cock-
And yeah, I have 2. That's my second one because of
Yeah.
that. And then I got good old Chuckles
Chuckles.
with the Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, dude.
Then my one Cobra would be. I've had this dude several
Major
times.
Blood.
I got Major Blood. And then sticking with the Horrorfest and the theme, picked these up because I thought they were funny. And I got the Minions.
Nice. Oh,
Sure.
wow. I didn't know they made those. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Dracula.
Those are fun.
And then I did Bride Kevin,
Right, Kevin.
Creature. And last but not least,
They did do a Wolfman though.
yeah, no Wolfman or Invisible
Dracula.
Man. Or,
Oh,
or
they
they did Dracula.
That's cool, man.
No Wolfman. Hopefully there's the Dracula. Hopefully there'll be a.
There, yeah.
Very nice.
But
Very
yeah,
nice show and tell. It's gonna be hard to follow that up. That's why next is Jelani. Show and tell. Show us what you've got.
I have no werewolf themed things. I feel bad about that. But, however, I do have this thing. I have my Megazord. Now, I showed you guys some of this yesterday. But I love this Megazord. This is the one that comes in those 3 packages. And it turned out pretty decent. I like this one a lot. I hope they make a Dragon Zord and a White Tiger Zord. I would love to have those with this and see how they would combine. Then thank you, Mike, of course, once again for this figure. I got the Falcon. I love this because it's the vulture wings. It's perfect. I love this thing. It's pretty awesome. And of course, then I got Jocasta. And Jocasta just so happened, it's odd, and I'm going to tell you a weird story about Jocasta. I actually had a crush on Jocasta when I was reading the comic books. I had no clue why. Yeah, loving a robot, man. Love with
Confused
Ultron, lady.
middle-aged Jelani.
That's right.
Confused adolescent Jelani.
Learning about robot women.
Learning
But, yeah.
about robot sex.
And then Thunderstrike, of course.
And Thunderstrike sex could come next.
Not for me.
I don't like his hairline, man. I don't like the hairline on that.
Yeah, he looks like Reggie.
I thought about getting it, but I didn't like that hairline, man. I really did.
I'm okay with it. I mean, I'm gonna get all the Thorish characters, so he's Thorish. It works.
Thunderstrike is my Thor.
He was the Thor that was an Infinity.
He's always been my Thor.
Utterly useless.
Go Eric. He's my Thor. Thor Eric.
And of course, my Kang.
Kang, you hand me a spoon.
Kang. But he needs a chair. I need to get a chair for him to do something with it. But this is
put him on the Mobius chair.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. I could find one. And this is the Build-A-Figure for them.
Yay!
Joe Fixit, man. This is quite clean.
Very
I'm very
nice.
excited.
Very clean.
This is the Gamerverse version. Because the face looks a little off that Joe Fixit would be, but I love this figure. It's so
Did they
big.
ever make a patch Wolverine in the Legend series?
They have a patch Wolverine. He comes with a bike. He comes.
That'd be cool to have, like, those two standing next to each other.
Yeah, I've got them.
Facing each other down.
That's the truth. Yeah, I got that patch in there holding the Murasama and another Black Blade. I'll show it to you later. And then I think that's it. I think that's everything. Yeah, that's everything.
Nice.
Yep.
It's a nice show and tell, Jelena.
Thank you. And thank you again, Mike, for giving me those. That's it.
Thank you for this.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
My pleasure, dude.
That's Silver Centurion's dope. All right.
Yeah.
So show and tell me, Robbie, show us what you got. First thing, I'm going to open up a pop of the Green Ranger.
Tommy!
Without a helmet.
That's an old one. You just drop it. You just drop it.
Yeah, where'd it go?
It's under your chair.
And lost forever.
That's why we can't have nice things.
I honestly don't know where it went.
The end. Good show and tell, guys. Good show and tell.
Oh, it went beyond reach.
Wow.
All right, well, that was open.
Wow.
Next, I found my Fulci film, The Beyond, on DVD in a closet that had not been opened in a while.
That's
So
where
that
that pop went. They went to the Beyond.
Yeah. It's a DVD. It's Fulci, and maybe that's a clue to something. And then we've got the Creep Show graphic novel. Keeping the Halloween theme. This is the graphic novel that Bernie Wrightson did based on the movie.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
Is it having like the comic stills from the movie in it?
No, it's its own thing. A couple new Blu-ray pickups to extend the horror movie collection. We got Black Christmas.
Of course.
Which is one we're covering soon, and I really am pleased with this one. Got this Omen box set from Scream Factory.
Awesome.
With all Omen films there.
Final
That's
conflict
super cool.
with Sam Neill. He's the president.
Got this Green Goblin.
Nice.
I know you
like
guys
that
are.
Norman head.
Yeah, I love this. This Green Goblin's dope.
Yeah.
I've got this one.
War Machine. You got one too.
Yeah, I had to get the War Machine.
Yeah,
now
dude.
I'm thinking about that. Where you
They're
get that
Walgreens
Silver Centurion?
I've got another one if you want it.
Oh shit. Anyway, no, I don't. But I got this Raphael baseball player right there.
Nice.
Always nice to show off a vintage Turtles figure. And the highlight of everything, speaking of baseball, this is the best pickup I've had in a while, y'all. Look at that.
All the Nolan Ryan cards.
Look at that.
Express.
The Ryan Express on a fucking like nice frame, man.
Go get her, Ryan.
Yeah.
No,
I fucking love it, man. And that was Show and Tell, and that was the show. So thank you guys so much for joining us here in the PCP Army. Thank you for joining us here in the PCP crew. Jelani, your final thoughts of the evening?
Make sure we're still socially distancing. Wear your masks. Be friendly. Love your, do all the cool stuff, man. Drink your milk. Don't do drugs. You'll be just like me.
Mike, final thoughts.
Jelani, go ahead and bring me that Silver Centurion, please. I'll pick it up for Robbie. That way he'll have it. But yeah, as soon as you open that as soon as you open that War Machine, you're gonna want it.
Yeah, you're gonna want it, dude. And it goes well with that War Machine's gonna be perfect with that Silver Centurion, man. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
So go ahead.
All right, nice final thoughts, Mike.
Go ahead, pick one. I'll give it to him. That way he can gift it. It's a gift that he can sell if he doesn't want it.
Oh, Jesus. Brooks, final thoughts on the evening?
Another one.
Werewolf. There, wolf.
I just got to end it there. That was great. Thank you guys so much in the PCP Army for joining us. We're out. You dig?